Above the clouds with
tush, but I was six and
Yo, yo, yo. All right, welcome everybody. We are back with week 2 of VESA season 13. I'm going to do a little recap of our first week with Emergent, and we'll be jumping into the action in about 5 minutes here. So our week 1 winners were therapists. They did it in pretty spectacular fashion, having an absolutely insane Storm Point, taking back-to-back wins. Summer Lane or Dan won IGL of the week. Really impressive performance by all three of these guys individually and as a team. It's cool to see a bunch of vets like this come together, make a team, and then just absolutely drop a banger week like they did. 80 points is insane. Average placement 4.5, insane. 41 kills, tied for the lead there on kills, is also insane. So big expectations for therapists coming out from week 1. And we'll see what they can do in week 2. Some other notable performances here. We have the Soaring Tigers. I think the Soaring Tigers were probably the most aggressive squad we saw in week 1. Hacks, a absolute demon, got Fragger of the week. Insane performance here. 20 kills, 9.6k damage, 23 downs. Absolutely demonic there on the altar. Just played altar the whole time. He had Nemu on the crypto, giving him eyes in the sky, and then Happy Hour nailing it down in the controller spot. Cleveland Forge coming in third, a little bit far behind. Therapist and Soaring Tigers definitely the most 2 impressive weeks here with 80 and 74 points. Both of them getting wins. Cleveland Forge wrapping up the top 3 with 53 points. And we saw them do pretty well here. They had an average placement of 7, so a little bit better than Soaring Tigers, but far less kills. So a lot more in placement. They got 2 second places and a third place in the final game. And then I'll just shout out the last 2 here in the top 5. We had Ducking Illusion. I think this is a squad I have my eye on tonight. This is a team that definitely has some big shooters on the team. With Illusion here, King Beast, I believe, is their IGL. He's playing crypto the whole night. Interstellar Duck, Illusion there getting top 50 pred within the first week of ranked. Absolute demon. I think he's like 18. Complete nightmare to go against. Rounding out our top 5 and 6 here, we've got Oppenheimer. This is Ali's team. They played a great zone-based play style here with 26 kills, getting 50 points, tying there with Illusion there. But they only got 2 seconds. Illusion getting the first take gives them the edge for fourth. And Oppenheimer has some experienced vets on the team: Bowdy, Ali, and Frank Newcastle. I believe Bowdy actually winning support of the week. So really great performance from Bowdy. I'll just shout out a couple of more teams here. Rutrow, you got Human, Hova, and Stinkerson with Iron Man as a sub in game one. They got sixth here with 40 points. 7.2 is really respectable placement. And then Legally Advises Cubano squad with Sen and Big Nate getting seventh. So high expectations for week 2 here. I'm really excited to see some of these squads. Some of the squads I think underperformed a bit. I'm interested to see them. I think the number one squad that I'm interested to see tonight is the Colts. This is Indigo and Zarufa's team. They are I think that they probably had a slight underperformance. I'm excited to see how they do. Let me get into lobby chat really quick. Day of match day information. Copy, okay. But yeah, I'm excited to see how these teams show out tonight. We had a lot of chat in the offs. We had a bye week, so it was a little slow. But I was excited to see a lot of chatter in the emergent chat, a lot of shit talking. I think some of these teams are definitely going to be coming in with a lot of energy. I'm definitely I have my eye out on a lot of these teams. I'm really excited to see and let me also jump into the broadcast booth so Anna can join us when she's ready. We're gonna be in broadcast booth 2. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how some of these teams perform. Bring this back up. I think some of these teams that underperformed T-Gun, this team dominated last season in Div 6. Wagon Station won match point finals in Div 6. So some of these teams, I think this was not the first week they won it, but I think they were a little surprised by maybe the pace of Div 4. There's a lot of really aggressive shooters in this division. So we'll have to keep an eye out for them. Shout out to Bandit Beaters. This team played as a duo, I believe, for like 3 or 4 games. OK Grim actually got the MVP of week 1 with an insane performance. These guys got top 10, and they played as a duo, I think, the majority of their games. So really cool to see them. Okay. And it looks like Anna's going live. Let me accept that really quick. Okay. But I really could see a lot of these teams doing really, really well in any given week. We saw some really cool zone play from KF Light, PYC. I think these teams were like 3v3 off from having insane games. I do want to note that Paradox was banned. They received a ban from VESA. I'm not super in the know. I'm not an admin or a mod, but I do know that this whole team was banned. So we'll see if we get a new team replacing them tonight, or if we're going to be playing with 19 squads. Okay, let me do this. Knock. There we go. Okay. I think we are now sharing chats with Anna. Anna, if you can hear me, I'm in broadcast booth 2. Who else do I want to shout out? I think what I guess what I want to say a lot is a lot of these kind of teams that performed in the bottom 5 or bottom 10, I could expect these guys to have a really big rebound. I'm gonna have my eye out for the Cult, Indigo, Zarufa, and Lacey's. This is a vet squad. Something I want to note about these guys, I was going over the drafts, and they actually got Sky West, which is probably the best, one of the best POIs for tonight, and definitely the best POI on World's Edge. So look out for them to have a huge game from Skywalk West. Unfortunately, because they took that in the overall first round, they have Ferrari on Stormpoint, and they are surrounded by Wingmen, Cleveland Forge, and Ducking Illusion. These are some pretty highly volatile squads. I think Wingmen is very prone to early fights. Cleveland Forge is a great fighting squad, and Ducking Illusion, as we said, R5 Illusion is absolute beast. You don't want to be running to this squad on white shields. So I'm definitely going to be looking out for them. From Ferrari, that's going to be a really hard rotate. I think they're going to need to basically just cut straight in towards Cascades to start off their game. And it looks like Anna, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Yo, how's it going? How was your week?
It's great. It was great. How was your week?
Um, I was not able to play. I'm kind of sick, so I missed out on my games on
Oh
Monday.
no.
But I have an all right week. I saw you guys you guys play on Monday as well, right?
Yes.
How was your second week of VESA?
A lot better.
A
So
lot
this is a
better?
team I hadn't played with before.
Okay.
Often. So we're getting our footing and I'm having a good time.
That's
We're
awesome.
learning.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I saw you guys. I didn't see what you guys placed in your first week, but I saw you guys got 18th this week, and it seemed like statistically, individually, you all did. Like it looked really competent.
Yeah, and we're picking up on things that we can improve on, which is really good. And the lobby played out more how I thought it was gonna play out
Awesome.
this week than last week. So progress.
That's super awesome. Um, Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And it looks like you're in the game, so it looks like we're gonna be jumping off game one right here. I just give a quick recap on how week one went since we had a bye week, just to refresh people's memories on some of the performances, some of the awards, going over the draft. But I'm really excited for this first game. It looks like we are playing with 19 squads, so no one is replacing Paradox for this week currently. I would expect there will be a team that slots in next week, but we have to give the league admins some time to kind of get that sorted out. I was mentioning, Anna, I don't know a lot of the specifics, but I was mentioning that there was a huge ban wave that went through VESA, shook up a couple of teams, and Paradox was one of those teams that got banned. So I'm not sure if there's any other teams that were affected in Div 4, but I did see that there were quite a few subs tonight. So I think there's going to be quite a few teams that are not totally complete, and we'll have to see how they perform. You have any insights or any thoughts on the ban wave that came out this week?
I was interested to see how it would affect the leagues, truthfully.
Yeah.
Like if it would change the way the players were playing, right? Like if one team not being in the lobby changes the comp or changes the way the matches are played. I mean, I don't know if it would be to that extent, but it'd be really interesting if it did.
Yeah. And I think that and let me make sure I turn you up a little bit here. I think that Paradox was I didn't know them that well, but they definitely had a pretty good zone based team. So they were taking really good spots. And I think that's gonna free up teams like PYC, Oppenheimer, some teams like that to potentially get to those spots. So we'll have to see the impact of that. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen when a new team comes in. I've seen teams kind of fill in the past, and very likely because they don't get those placement matches, those teams are either really powerful or a little underwhelming for the lobby. So we'll have to see how that looks like maybe next week. We're starting off on Stormpoint. I thought, maybe I'm mistaken, I thought we were starting off on World's Edge, but I guess I'm wrong. Another thing I should mention is we had a balance patch come from Apex last week. So Cat got buffed, Fuse got buffed, but is a little bit rocky. We also saw Bloodhound getting some buffs. So potentially we'll see some balance changes in the lobby tonight. we'll have to see how teams respond to that. I think we were all pretty surprised to see the kind of controller heavy lobbies we saw in week 1. You know, we had controllers get fully banned. All 6 bans were controllers in week 1, which was pretty surprising to me. So we'll have to see if that's a trend that we see again tonight. And right off the bat, we're already seeing teams like, I think I saw Mango not even running Caustic. Mango, I think I saw Mango running Cat, Sparrow. Kind of insane. Yeah,
Do you
Cat.
think because there's an update to Cat that maybe she's more viable?
Oh yeah,
in these comps?
I like Cat a lot more now. We also see T-Gun running Cat game 1, so not the unanimous Caustic picks. We also see Rutro running. We're also seeing Rutro running a Rampart here game 1, so a lot more variation than I expect. Also, Legally Advised running Seer, Bang, Gibby game 1. That's crazy shit. Any of these comps stick out to you? Any of them that you really like? Any of them that you don't like?
I really want to see Team 12 with Fuse Cat, Sparrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's looking like a really aggressive team. That's Mango, and Mango's going to be let's see, where is Mango? They are in Echo, it looks like. So they do have an edge POI. We see zone 1 coming in, and to me, this looks like maybe a coastal zone, definitely a southern zone, either coastal or potentially Barrow. Do you have any guesses on the zone? It looks like we might get a zone in. Let's see if there's any teams with zone info yet. It does look like Giggle Gang over in Launchpad has zone info. And it looks like it's going to be an Echo zone game 1. Maybe Echo, maybe out in the field of Coastal Camp. So very southern zone. It's interesting because the team we were highlighting for their comp, Mango, they are very aggressive here with the Fuse, the Cat, and the Sparrow. But that's going to probably hurt them as they're going to have to now play, you know, really hard zone as the zone pulls to them. So it looks like we're already seeing the Cult walking up towards, it looks like we might have a North Pad Ferrari fight here between the Wingmen and the Cult. I was going over the POIs earlier, and Wingmen, definitely a team that likes to take early fights. They're walking straight up on the Cult here. An early EMP coming out. And it looks like Wingman wants to take this fight. They immediately get the Fuse ult out. They're on Wraith, Fuse, Crypto, and they're trying to get aggressive, but we see Lama Train taking a ton of damage. I don't know if the Cult actually wants to take this fight, but they don't have much of a choice at this point. I think these teams basically have to take this fight. There's no disengaging, as we see Ducky dropping down. Ducky gets knocked by Indigo.
No.
Yeah, and it looks bad for Wingman here, as That's Fair takes a lot of damage. We do see Train do a lot of counter damage, but also quite low, and now the Caustic's starting to take damage. It looks like they trade out, and it's down to just Train. Train picking up a kill on Zarufa, and Train's going to be in a 1v2 here on height. The problem is if Train drops, they're going to be on a Caustic. They're going to have to drop on top of Caustic traps. Both teams definitely know where each other is. I just don't see how Train's definitely not going to be able to reset here. If you're Train here, you could get out potentially with a portal. It looks like Train wants to fight this, though. Oh, my God. And Train actually takes out the Colts. Crazy early fight there. I did not expect Wingman to take that. I thought that Train was in a 1v2, but it looks like Train was actually in a 1v1. That's a kind of a psychotic climb up by the Bang to take that 1v1. But an early win there for Wingman. Wingman, of course, being the North Pad team, and so they're going to take out the Colt Ferrari team. I was going over the recap from week 1. I think the Colt had a very Underwhelming week 1. You know, I think they got 17th in week 1, and they're a team that I expect a lot out of tonight. They have Sky West on World's Edge, so I think that they're gonna look to have a big World's Edge night, and they just kind of need to, I think, do decent on Storm points. It's probably not the start they're looking for going out in 19th.
Oh no.
We see other teams rotating. It looks like Giggle Gang is Valculting potentially into Coastal Field, and they're pinging like they want the nut, but this is not where Zone is pulling. So Giggle Gang, that's going to be Blue Greek, Just Gavin, Optimistic Stoic. They're going to take the nut over by Barrow, but that is probably going to backfire a bit, as Zone is definitely going to be pulling into Echo. We see
They
Oppenheimer.
are fighting in Echo. 2 or 3 teams, actually.
Yeah, we've got quite a few teams in Echo. I was just about to say, we got Oppenheimer, a team that's got great zone knowledge. They're in Echo. They're playing the bottom. We got Be Happy on top of them. And then we've got, this is Wagon Station in the main building of Echo with T-Gun in one of the buildings. And then it looks like EST Mango Mafia taking the back building. We also have some kills here. Where is that? That's going to be Bandit Beaters, and they got some shots off on KF Light, but KF Light's resetting and getting out. It looks like Therapist also getting killed. Where is that? That's 2 DIV fighting Therapist, and that's in Coastal Camp. And it looks like Therapist down to a solo here of Ernst. So the #1 team from week 1 already down to a solo. We missed some of that action as they ran into each other in Coastal. Ernst on the Valk, almost has Valk ult and looking to get out here and reset his team. It looks like 2 DIV or 2 Div. I'm gonna call them 2 Div. I don't know what to call this team. It looks like they got 2 kills on Therapist and are not looking to chase Ernst. They do have to share Coastal with Rutro here in Coastal. We see that Zone 2 is now up, and so teams are going to be aware. If they didn't have Zone 1, Zone 2 information, they're now aware that this is an Echo Zone. It looks like we might have a bit of a scuffle here in Jurassic. I'm looking at Cleveland Forge. This is the 3rd place team from week 1, and they are fighting a very terrifying team. They are fighting Ducking Illusion here. We see King Beast run straight into Awesome, but Awesome takes him down. Interstellar Duck with the trade, and now we're in a 2v2. It looks like Ducking Illusion trying to just reset here. But Interstellar Duck is 1, gets the bat off. Giggle Gang taken down off screen, and that looks like they were taken down by Legally Advised, I believe. We're going to stay on with this fight in Jurassic as they do get King Beast up, and it looks like it's now a 3v3. Cleveland Forge looking to get aggressive here. I think Cleveland Forge slowly getting the advantage here. Therapist taken down off screen in 17th, and it looks like Ducking Illusion just full on running as they are now a duo, and King Beast is taken down. Ducking Illusion will be a duo here running backwards, and they may run into wingmen coming from Cascades. So Therapist, the solo of Therapist is found, Ernst is found, and Therapist go out in 17th. That's kind of a surprise considering they were the 1st place squad last week, and now we see Wingmen coming up on Ducking Illusion. Ducking Illusion in absolute shambles here, and they're trying to get the alcohol off. They do get it off. I love that. But Diamond goes down, and that is the Valk. So Ducking Illusion falling from the skies, and they're going to be a solo. I think they're going to get cleaned up here. And they do. Ducking Illusion going down in 16th. So the 4th place squad already out as well. I also want to mention, I believe, unless Illusion is playing under the name Diamond Owe, I believe Illusion is not playing tonight. And that's a pretty big loss for Ducking Illusion, considering he is, I would say, their best fragger. All right, so we've got a little bit of 3-team pile up here in Coastal. This is Rutro. This looks like, I believe this is Legally Advised. Who is this next to them? Well, we definitely have Soaring Tigers. Soaring Tigers coming in second last week, having a huge game. And all these teams are kind of stuck in Coastal, but this is a great call from the IGLs of these 3 teams because the zone is pulling out of Echo into Coastal. That's a crazy pullback. Did you anticipate that at all, Anna?
I kind of thought it was going to be more towards Echo.
Same. Yeah,
And
totally
I think a lot
agree.
of these teams did as well, right? There's at least 4 teams there.
Yep.
3 teams.
We see KF Light taking the nut as Cleveland Forge is now Valk-ulting in to Echo, and they find an open building. They find the last open spot in Echo. We also see 2 Div pulling up. They're now taking the tunnel in Echo. So, I'm sorry, not Echo, in Coastal. And these is some great spots for these teams in Coastal. If I was calling this zone, I definitely would have thought this was an Echo zone, and I would have miscalled this. I can say that for sure. So lots of teams are going to be stuck in Echo. This is very similar to the last game of the ALJS champs, which pulled out of Echo into Pylon. So now all the teams in Echo are going to see that it is indeed a Coastal zone, and we see EST Mango Mafia, the Echo team, already trying to rotate around. We also see Be Happy. They are Valk-ulting for a spot in Coastal. Let's see if they can find anything. There are a couple open spots here. They can play the low ground. They can play the tunnel. I think tunnel's the best spot, and that is where they elect to go. That is going to be the last real good spot. Oh, wait, there is a team here as Asian Mike gets knocked.
In the corner. Oh, no.
Oh, I did not see this team. And Be Happy gets absolutely obliterated. Which team is that?
Hate to see it. 8th gate.
8th gate. Yeah, you hate to see it. I'm surprised that they went there with the Valk ult. You would have thought they would have seen it on the scan. We see Jaeger getting knocked. That's going to be an Echo as T-Gun is also trying to rotate out. T-Gun in shambles here. They were trying to get into Coastal out of Echo, and they're down to 2 playing the rocks.
Oh, they're about to be down to 1. Oh.
They stay alive, but this is a rough spot as all the spots start to fill up. We also see Legally Advised with the Seer game 1 getting aggressive here. This is going to be on Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer on top of the cannon, holding the high ground. Going to be a really tough fight here for Legally Advised as they start to pop some ults. We see the Gibby ult come out. Oppenheimer trying to hold their back, but also trying to rotate at the same time. Oppenheimer elects to play the fence line here, and this is playable for sure, and I don't mind this at all if they can keep the team, if they can keep Legally Advised off their back. Legally Advised coming up, all purples, looking for an opening pick here. We're down to 14 squads as Zone 3 is closing. Huge 158 from Big Nate here, but they don't push off of that. I think Legally Advised definitely in a good position to potentially get some kills here as we see Bandit Beaters in a really rough spot at the top of Pylon Hill, down to a solo. Great shots for you, the real Diggin, as he's a solo, and it looks like that's Wingman down to a solo. So it's 1v1, and Wingman about to get mopped up by Zone.
I just realized Bandit Beaters has all 3 of their teammates.
I know. A big shout out to OK Grim for getting the MVP last week. I mean, really incredible play by them as their duo was able to still get a top 10 as a duo. Wingman trying to stabilize here against Bandit Beaters, but they are struggling. It looks like Bandit Beaters are now a full 3, and they're going to be holding out the top of this hill. They do have PYC looking from the left, and PYC are just going to clean this up. Wingman do get eliminated, and now this is going to be a 3v3 of PYC against Bandit Beaters. Trick shot last guy down to one health here on the Valk. Gets the pretty shitty shield swap. Caboose also down to 1, but they do get the knock on OK Grim. The res coming out from Pakanot, and PYC does get cleaned up by Bandit Beaters. So Bandit Beaters getting a lot of KP here and somehow staying alive. in Pylon. They are being looked at by KF Light, but KF Light electing not to get too aggressive. We also see Legally Advised still in a fight here with Oppenheimer. Sen on the swing does get knocked, and it's just down to Cubano. Big shots from the P2020. It's Cubano, I believe, in a 1v1. T-Gun eliminated off screen. It is Cubano in a 1v1. He is on the seer. He gets the Q off. What a great punch, and I think he takes this. He does take this. Oppenheimer killed from the back as Hova gets the snipe, and it looks like it's going to be Bandit Beaters coming in for the third here. On to Legally Advised.
They did play that knock perfectly.
I completely agree. I think Cubano played that really well. Getting the Seer Q down and then punching him out of the knock was great. Let's see how if Bandit Beaters are able to stay alive. They have a ton of KP as Legally Advised is eliminated. Bandit Beaters coming in with 9 squads left, trying to find a spot in zone. It looks like they will get the rocks. There's no one there, and it looks like they will safely get in. Wagon Station down to a solo on Juicebox Slays. He's got a team looking at him, and he goes down. We are down to 8 squads here. KF Light and Shambles, as they're looking for a spot to play here. They run into a team here. It looks like it might be Rutro, as it's just Hatch on the altar looking for a safe place to play. They are now about to aggress on Soaring Tigers, who have been playing this building the whole game, and KF Light is eliminated. We're down to 7 squads. Oh, right. That has been an absolute heater of the start of the game. We're down, getting to our end game here. We've got 7 squads left with 20. The zone does pull out of Coastal to this back coastal area. I do want to shout out Hova on Rutro. He's got 2 KP just playing zone here with his longbow. So Rutro making the most of their zone plays as they're looking over another fight as we see Bandit Beaters trying to find a space in this zone. So we've got Bandit Beaters and EST Mango Mafia. EST Mango Mafia somehow finding a spot here despite playing Echo for the first part of this, the first half of this game. We've got Rutro with 8th Gate underneath them, and then we've got 2 Div looking to kind of find a spot here as well with the Crypto, sneaking their way in. I believe all these teams, it's 7:21, so we've got 7 squads of 3. So this is going to be an explosive zone close as the zone begins to close here. I'm going to keep it on with Soaring Tigers and see what they can do here. We got Winter Deadeye, we got Nemu, and Hax. Hax, the fragger of the week. Let's see what Hax can do to make space for his team. It looks like they might come up here on EST. They are playing small. We have a bang alt down. Switching over to Rutro. Hova taking a lot of damage. Human trying to stabilize the team, but Human does get knocked. It's down to Stink and Rutro as they are getting kills. I believe that's 8th Gate. It is 8th Gate that gets eliminated. So we're down to 2 on Rutro here.
What a rotate in.
And Rutro is eliminated, unfortunately. And that's gonna be Soaring Tigers that cleans them up. Cleveland Forge also eliminated as we're into the top 4. It looks like Mango Mafia breaks out this fight here. It's down to just Mango Burger. A little bit of a cat wall here, just trying to stay alive. Drops on a low ground, but right in front of a team, and he gets killed. So we are down to our final 3. That is going to be Bandit Beaters, Soaring Tigers, and 2 Div. Soaring Tigers has most of the high ground to themselves here as they were able to clean up Rutro and I believe Cleveland Forge. I do know Bandit Beaters are trying to look at this height as we see 2 Div on the low ground. Looking at these 3 teams, Anna, do you have a favorite to take this win? They're all 3. Go ahead.
Bandit Beaters, even though they're on the bottom, I feel like they've played it so well up to this point that I think they could take it.
Yeah. I definitely think Bandit Beaters, a ton of momentum, as you said. This team has, I believe they have 8 KP. They've cleaned up the edge pretty nicely. and they can play a lot of this space. It's going to be a question of, does Soaring Tigers really bully them off the high ground? It looks like Soaring Tigers is trying to do that, but they do have EST looking at them. EST swinging the high ground, but gets absolutely put down by Nemu. Nemu going at, they're going, Hacks and Nemu going just nuclear here on Mango Mafia. And this looks like this is going to be the final fight. Nemu going into drone, Hacks queuing through. This looks like it's Bandit Beaters trying to take advantage of the fight. Hacks gets eliminated and Soaring Tigers go out in third. And now it's down to just Bandit Beaters and EST Mango Mafia, and Bandit Beaters take the win. That's a crazy game. So good call, Anna, on Bandit Beaters taking the win there. I did not expect Soaring Tigers to get third there.
That R9 goes crazy.
Yeah, it really does. Even though they did release a gun balance patch, the R9 still seems to be kind of the gun of choice in close range. Bandit Beaters with a monstrous first game here. They're gonna have a ton of KP. I really thought, you know, EST Mango Mafia, I believe, kind of just inted Soaring Tigers on height, and Soaring Tigers seemed to handle them pretty well, but it kind of got away from them. So do you want to go over our top 10 here on the scoreboard?
Yeah, so right now, Bandit Beaters, of course, in first place overall. Killer 10 kill game, most kills, and they've got first place, 22 points. 2 Div is second, third Soaring Tigers, fourth 8th Gate, fifth Mango Mafia, Rutro in sixth place, Cleveland Forge in seventh, Wingman in 8th, KF Light in 9th, and Legal Advised in 10th.
Perfect. And yeah, I mean, that was a monstrous game there. So a lock him down. Bandit Beaters obviously having the monster game there and stealing the win. I really did think that Soaring Tigers had it, but Mango Mafia, or I'm sorry, I keep saying Mango Mafia, but I believe that's 2 Div. That was 2 Div that inted them. Yep. I'm sorry, I keep saying that wrong. 2 Div comes up and absolutely destroys Soaring Tigers' game, ending up snatching second from what I think was the worst spot in the zone, and then Bandit Beaters taking advantage of that and getting the first. Huge game by Bandit Beaters, 10 kills, as you said, and first place. We do see the expected Caustic ban game 1. With regard to individual performances, your kill leader is Iced Out Alert on 8th Gate. He has 4 kills. He's tied with You For Real Diggin' on Bandit Beaters, Free BK on 2 Div, and Twiz on EST Mango Mafia. So we've got a 4-way tie for kill leader. And then in damage leader, we had You For Real Diggin' on Bandit Beaters. You For Real Diggin' was the third that was missing week 1. So I think Bandit Beaters are pretty happy to have their third back, and it looks like they're making the most of it. All right, so we're jumping immediately into game 2 here. No Caustic, so I saw quite a few cats in the hero select scene, and the legend select scene. Cat, of course, really good on Storm Point because the wall can be really, really helpful to provide cover for rotates and reses. Bandit Beaters, I do want to mention. Let's see, Bandit Beaters. Where did they end up landing? They were landing. Let's see if we can find them. They were landing down Beast. So a down Beast team winning a coastal camp zone. Really, really great job by them. I was looking at the draft before the game started, and I thought Bandit Beaters had one of the best drafts. They have down Beast, and I believe they have Overlook, or they have a really good draft on World's Edge as well. So they might have a really strong night, and that was a great start to it. All right, so we see Zone 1 coming out here. Let's see if I can get into third person, and then... So the next zone coming out, it looks like we will have a bit of a wall zone. A bit of a wall zone. I'm not sure if you can see that next zone, Anna, but it looks like it's going to be either wall or maybe top of zip. You can see Ducking Illusion in wall. They have the zone info. Excuse me.
I think it's that
Top of zip.
Same with the zip, yeah.
Yeah, and that I think Ducking Illusion agrees with you there, and they have that building pinged, and that's a really nice building because if it is that zone, what I like about that building is if it is that top of zip building or zone, and there's a couple endings that end right around there, you have just monopoly on the safe spots, and then the nice thing is if it does end up pulling back into wall, which I don't know if it will, you still have the flexibility to move into wall. Like you're not that far away and you're uphill. So I like this call a lot from King Beast. I believe he's their IGL for Ducking Illusion. So we'll see how this works out. It looks like again we've got Diamond on the altar. I'm not sure if this is R5 Illusion or if this is a sub. We're seeing some early rotates. It looks like we've already seen Legally Advised from Zeus. They've already made their way into Elrod, and then PYC from Elrod already making their way down to Stormcatcher. Some really nice early rotates here from teams as they recognize they might have good prio here. Oppenheimer getting some good shots there. That's going to be, that's actually going to be Therapists. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's going to be PYC in the car. Therapist with a great evac here. I think Therapists are landing Command Center, I believe. And they're already getting set up at the front of Command Center. Therapist going out 19th last game. You know they couldn't have been happy with that. They're looking to have a really fast rotate here from Command Center and get a good prio zone as we look at Dan, their IGL, trying to get the tower down. Let's see if we have any other fights breaking out here. It looks like the Cult elects to just go up into wall this time instead of fight North Pad. And we see Therapists making their way into wall here via evac. So teams already setting up. I think a lot of these teams agree with you, Anna. I think a lot of these teams do believe this is going to pull out of wall and won't be a deep wall zone. And so I think they're trying to set up in these zip buildings and on this hill.
I do want to note that Soaring Tigers had picked their building within, I think, the first 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
I'm considering last game they were in the right spot for most of the game. I'm feeling pretty confident
with that call.
They probably have the zone, yeah.
Yeah, they're taking, and as Anna says, Soaring Tigers taking the bottom zip building. That's a great spot. We see Oppenheimer, a team that's very, very good at playing zone. Really good IGL here from Ali. They're taking a wall building, and then the Cult, the Ferrari team, moving up to take another wall building. As we see a team getting absolutely PYC in the car, getting completely stuffed on the rotate here, and they are in total shambles as Trickshot Guy getting knocked. But they are getting the res, and they're trying to set up here. I don't know if they can live here.
Oh, no.
And we do see two of them getting knocked. It's down to just Trickshot Guy. Valkult's out with the down Newcastle attached to him. And that's a great Valkult. That's going to save their entire game. I think they were dead to rights there. And this is a great job by Trickshot getting out with your teammate. And they're going to be able to reset. And they're going to reset safely. We also see 8th Gate getting set up in the compound next to Soaring Tigers. Hack's already harassing them, not letting them live here for free. And that's a team that, I mean, if I'm playing zone, I'm not happy to be sitting next to Hacks. I want to note we have Cleveland Forge wrapping all the way outside of wall, and they're coming in and taking a zone, a spot in wall. I'm not entirely sure where they land, but that's a great rotate. I know that they don't land North Pad and they don't land down B, so I'm not sure where they came from, but that's a great rotate from them. We see Legally Advised coming down the hill from Zeus, and this has got to be a little frustrating for them. They went all the way into Elrod, and now they're having to counter-rotate to find a spot in zone. Let's see what else we have here. We got Wagon Station looking for a spot in zone. Unfortunately, both these buildings are going to be taken. They might have to set up here on wall, as we see Juicebox looking for anything here on Wraith. Bandit Beast moving out of checkpoint. They see the duo going into North Pad to reset. I don't know if they're going to look for that. They do see that zone is near them, and maybe they're going to want to get set up. We also see T-Gun about to bump into Wingmen. Wingmen, definitely a team that likes to take early fights. These teams, I would be surprised if these teams coexist. I think Wingmen will look for a fight here. We see Wingmen starting to make their way out of the tunnel, looking as T-Gun rotates right by them safely. Let's see if anyone has any zone info. So it looks like if you look at 2div down in Cedo, they do have the next zone. And this zone may actually pull back into wall. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like it may actually be pulling back towards the wall side and less away from the hillside. And that's going to really mess with a lot of these teams' plans. Where is Rutro? I would expect Rutro is in command center. They also get the third zone info. They're going to make their way through command center, and I bet they're going to make their way through the tunnels. This is a really nice play by Rutro, getting that third zone scan, and now that they can still find their way in from the north side. We do see Cleveland Forge bumps down to a different building, and that gives Legally Advised a space to play, and Legally Advised has got to be really happy and relieved that they do get this spot to play. I do want to note that we are... Ooh, it looks like Ernst's getting knocked and full killed. That's on Therapist, and that's going to be from Ducking Illusion. So Therapist down to a duo. This is the team that was playing the hill the whole time, and now they're down to a duo. That's going to be really rough for Therapist. A really rough start for Therapist, considering their first place finish week 1. Going out 19th in game 1, and now they're down to they're the first team down to a duo in game 2. I don't know if you see this, Anna, but it looks like we've got KF Light and this is PYC kind of feuding over the nuts below wall. And this is a really rough fight because these teams don't really have a great rotate in. We see that Bandit Beaters, the first place team from game 1, is holding wall. That's a basically impregnable position to take. Coming up that zip is straight suicide. So I don't know what the plan is here for PYC, but I kind of hope that they just rotate around, and the earlier the better. They've got to assume there's a team up in wall. All right, and as we predicted, Rutro with the third place information, they are taking tunnels. This is a great spot by Rutro. They do have to contest with Giggle Gang in tunnels, and it looks like Giggle Gang does get picked by the human. And Giggle Gang trying to reset here as Rutro looking to get aggressive. So they do have, I believe that's Ducking Illusion looking to get some picks, as Sinkerson also gets a pick here. Rutro trying to push their advantage here, and they need to clear this team. Giggle Gang in full-on retreat here as they're running down the wall. Sinkerson trying to get some kills, but has to back off. Let's see, Ducking Illusion does back off as well. So great position here for Rutro, and I think Giggle Gang very happy to get out with their full squad. T-Gun has kind of got... I'm sorry, go ahead, Anna.
2div is dying to zone over here.
2div is dying to zone. Oh, yeah, they are. And 2div's going to be coming in. Great call, Anna. They're going to be coming in on the backside here. And let's see if Rutro is aware of this. As these teams are probably not going to be able to coexist very well. We see a lot of deaths in the kill feed. Let's see if we can find that. It looks like that's KF Light and PYC are fighting here. And it looks like KF Light is winning this fight. And they do kill out PYC there as Flying Dutchman picks up 2. Who else got eliminated? I missed a couple other kills there.
Be Happy was eliminated.
Be Happy was eliminated. Let's see who else was eliminated. I missed. So it looks like EST Mango Mafia also fights maybe Be Happy there in Command Center. They get a kill. As we see this zone, everyone's going to start to realize that this might actually pull into wall and not top of zip. This is going to make a lot of those bottom zip teams kind of nervous. If you're KF Light here, you know, you've got no Valk. It looks like they want to come up through the zip building through wall. This is going to be a really, really hard approach. And we know that Bandit Beaters are waiting there. And they've been holding this position the entire game. So let's see how this goes. If Bandit Beaters are caught off guard, or if... Oh, and it looks like KF Light hear Bandit Beaters above them, and they decide not to take this. I like this call from KF Light. This is going to be a really rough rotate with 24 seconds left, but you basically, that's just suicide. I don't think that fight is something you can take. We see 8th Gate Valk ulting in. They're looking for a spot in wall. I love this play. They can play under bridge, and it looks like that's what they elect to do. This is a totally safe spot, especially with a Newcastle and a Rampart. We see 2Div starting to make their way towards Rutro here, and both teams are aware of each other's presence, and this is going to be a really hard push here. Rutro basically has to hold their space here, but they have to be aware of Giggle Gang down the hill that might come up to third them. We also see KF Light making their push on. They are fighting. This is Wagon Station that's kind of stuck in a pinch here. KF Light with a great swing here on Wagon Station. It looks like Overrated Max getting lots of kills in the back, and that's, of course, going to be Therapists pinching Wagon Station really hard here between KF Light. Wagon Station down to the solo of the Wraith as they get pinched hard by Therapist and KF Light. Therapists end up getting killed off by KF Light as KF Light makes their crusade up this edge. T-Gun happy to have another spot. T-Gun does get the zone scan, and the zone does pull back out to the wall, out to the hillside. So T-Gun actually in a decent spot here. We see Soaring Tigers leave their top building, and they actually move down into wall, and they're in a great spot. They're getting a little bit handsy here for bottom of building as we see Nemu, Winter Light, and Hax looking to get some kills here. And they are fighting, this is Oppenheimer on the second floor. As we see them go up and send Oppenheimer here. Ollie gets the Kraber kill onto Nemu. But Oppenheimer do go down as Soaring Tigers barely take them down with Nemu going down, Winter on 1 health, and Hax cleaning it up. So that's a big time fight, as that's probably one of the best spots in zone Soaring Tigers take. Oppenheimer's got to be pretty sad to lose that. We do see Rutro getting aggressive here. This is Giggle Gang as Stingerson gets a pick. Rutro very low, but they do have the 3v2 here on Giggle Gang. Let's see what Human's able to do. Nice slide down here from Human, but he may have overextended. Can his team help him follow up? Rutro really low. It's all down to Hova, but Hova in a 1v1 he loses. And that's gonna be Giggle Gang absolutely saved by Legally Advised that come in and grief the shit out of Rutro. Legally Advised killing off Giggle Gang and Rutro and cleaning up this edge. Great play there by Legally Advised. Really aware. Wagon Station dying off screen to Hax. We see another Valk ult here by 8th Gate. The Valk ults have been absolutely pristine from 8th Gate as they find another spot which is defensible with the Newcastle and the Rampart. It's going to be Legally Advised on the outside looking in as they try to find their way in. LA Big Nate getting a knock here. That's going to be on 8th Gate. I don't know if they can actually take advantage of that. They cannot. And now they're going to have to tuck in on this really little spot. T-Gun in a bit of an uncomfortable position here as they find themselves surrounded by teams. Let's see if Yager can get some kills here. I love this wall from Yager. Hopefully it gives them some stability as it looks like they're looking at, I believe, who is that they're looking at? They're looking at, is that PY? Who is this?
Mango Mafia?
That's KF Light. That's KF Light, yeah.
Oh.
KF Light with a monster game trying to continue this game, their momentum as they are griefing griefing T-Gun in the side. Mango Mafia taking advantage of this as this pinch is coming out onto T-Gun. T-Gun in a terrible spot, but Twiz taking a lot of damage from... and he's going to end up getting knocked by the Flying Dutchman. Huge help here as Mango Mafia get down to a duo. Can T-Gun No. Well, 2div is eliminated. Is T-Gun still up? Oh, T-Gun was eliminated. And KF Light just absolutely nuking this lobby. I love the aggression out of KF Light. And now they're looking to get aggressive on Mango Mafia. With the advantage, they get the picks, and they absolutely wipe the floor with Mango Mafia. 4 kill leader here from Hatch. As they run right into Soaring Tigers, who are playing the top. I'm sorry, that's Ducking Illusion, playing the top of Zip. We're down to 6 squads here of 18. All 6 squads are full teams. I really like, obviously, KF Light just putting on an absolute masterclass as we see Delta with 9 assists. They're having a great edge game here. We got Flying Dutchman with 5 kills. They might break out this fight here with Ducking Illusion. Ducking Illusion with the high ground here, though. This will be tough for KF Light to continue their streak this game. KF Light is forced to take the low ground, and now they're kind of just fish in a barrel for Ducking Illusion. But Ducking Illusion is going to have to drop in on them as Zone pushes them in, and they're taking a lot of damage as Flying Dutchman does get a pick. It's the 2v2 here, down to just Interstellar Duck, and he does get eliminated as KF Light continue their dominance. It looks like their game will be done in a very stellar 5th place.
I kind of wanted them to win.
Yeah, they had a monster game, but 8th Gate does clean them up and now controls the entire south side of the zone here. So we're down to 4 squads. We've got the Colts staying alive here with a relatively quiet game. We've got Legally Advised with a great game on the low ground within wall. We've got, this is Soaring Tigers inside the building. They've had a great game. They're in probably one of the safest spots. And then we've got 8th Gate on the outside of the wall. 8th Gate does not have an altar, so they're going to either have to climb over the wall or Valk ult. If you're 8th Gate here, Anna, what's your play here? Are you going to Valk ult, or are you going to try to play it slow and like climb?
They've been really good with the Valk ult so far.
Oh, and I'm sorry, they can walk in right around the edge of the wall. That was my bad there. They have been. I agree. They've had some great Valk ults. So we'll see what they elect to do here. I think the team that's going to have to move first, it looks like, might end up being the Colts, as they walk straight into Legally Advised, and they are breaking out this fight. Zarufa with the entry damage, but takes a lot himself. Great Gibby bubble, but the bubble goes down, and now the Cult have a great advantage here as they do trade out kills with Cubano. Huge shots here. I think the Cult are up in a 2v1, and they... Is this a 1v1? I think, yeah, it's a 1v1 of Indigo here against Legally Advised. I'm not sure who's up for Legally Advised.
Sen.
It's Sen, okay.
He's fighting for his life.
Fighting for his life. Sen is on the high ground. He comes back down for the kills. Indigo takes so much damage, he doesn't know where Sen is. And Cubano gets the kill. The Cult gets eliminated in 4th. Legally Advised down. And now we're down to the final 2 teams. It's Soaring Tigers as a duo, and they're against 8th Gate here. We're on with Hack Superior. He's got 3 kills. Great vert nades here. He's down to a 1v3 against 8th Gate. It's going to be hard for him. He does have the high ground, but I don't know how he's going to win this in a 1v3. He has a Kraber. Infinite ammo. Let's see what he can do here. Misses the quick shot, and that's going to be 8th Gate as your Game 2 champion. What a game from 8th Gate. I think there were some really great performances there by our teams. 8th Gate with some phenomenal Valk ults. They were able to Valk ult into wall, out of wall. They were able to hold their spot, and they were able to clean up some of the power teams, namely Ducking Illusion and KF Light fighting on that edge. So great job by 8th Gate, and you'll love to see it as we wrap up Game 2. Anna, if you want to go through our Game 2 scores.
So that win pushes 8th Gate to 1st place.
Wow.
28 points. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Bandit Beaters moves down to 3rd. Soaring Tiger takes 2nd. KF Light is in 4th place, followed by 2div, who went down 3 places. EST Mango Mafia is 6th. 7th is Legally Advised. They went up 3 places. Retro in 8th, dropping down 2 places. Cleveland Forge dropping down 2 places in 9th. And then Ducking Illusion moved up to 10th, up 6 places.
Nice. Great. We love to see it. And I think that's I mean, as you're saying, 8th Gate moving into first with 1 game, that's absolutely insane. 13 kills. They move into second overall with kills. KF Light having a monster game there with 14 kills overall. I think they had 11 of their 14 in that that game, getting third in the game. I think they ended up placing 5th. Yeah, they did place 5th. But what a game from KF Light. And really interesting, we're seeing a lot of comp variance this game, even though Rampart is banned game 2. That we're seeing so much comp variance. We're seeing KF Light with the crazy Sparrow Bang alter gameplay on Stormpoint, absolutely demonic there. And then we see 8th Gate with the more traditional Valk, Rampart, Newcastle, and that really paid off for them. They really were able to Valk into a good spot, get the Newcastle wall down, and then get the Rampart walls down to provide some safety. So you love to see it, and phenomenal job by 8th Gate. I gotta say, kind of a wild zone there. I kind of ping pong back and forth between whether that was going to pull out a wall or into wall, and it ended up in wall. So I think some of those teams were thrown for a loop, and it provided kind of a chaotic edge gameplay. You got to feel bad for Therapists, as they are in last place overall. They had a great spot, and unfortunately, Ernst got picked and then full killed. And so Therapist forced into a duo situation, even though they had a pretty premier spot in zone. So you've got to feel bad for them, as they probably not having the game that they wanted, as we jump here into game number 3. So looking at these team comps going into game number 3 here, we're seeing a lot of cats again. Rampart is banned. There's no caustic, so the controller of choice is going to be cat. Let's see. Do we see any Watsons?
2 Watsons.
2 Watsons. Stabjack on the Watson. We also see Winter Deadeye on the Watson. So a couple Watsons coming out, but mostly the controller of choice is going to be cat. Lots and lots of cats. We're seeing some fuses start to come out, as we see Oppenheimer moving over to fuse. T-Gun, we got Yager on his signature Pathfinder. Yager is known for being a Pathfinder demon, so they're moving over to some comfort picks here. And then we're still seeing, I would say, a fair amount of Sparrows here, which was really successful for KF Light last game, as KF Light keeps the same comp with Sparrow, Alter, and Bang. We also see ESC Mafia moving over to Sparrow. We've got the Cult on Sparrow. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how those picks go out. Legally Advised sticking to their same comp. They are running a controllerless comp with Seer, Bang, Gibby. They've been running this all night, and this is kind of fucking crazy. And we'll see how this works out for them in game number 3. Again, we've got the Cult in Ferrari. Last game, they avoided the fight early game with this is Wingmen over in Northpad, and it worked out for them as they got a top 4 finish. Let's see if we can get anyone with zone knowledge here. Do you have any teams here that... Oh, yep.
Cleveland Forge has it.
Yep, Cleveland Forge does have zone knowledge, and this is going to be another a very similar zone, not necessarily the wall this time, maybe either Cascades or the field outside of Cascades. But great spot here for Therapist and for Soaring Tigers from Cascades. We see that Cleveland Forge are trying to rotate quickly and take advantage of this zone knowledge. Anna, if you have any place to play in this zone, where do you want to play with your choices of spots?
I think I'd play just edge of Cascade.
The northern edge of Cascades, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives you some flexibility, but if it pulls into Cascades, it gives you some stability. We see Rutrow also with zone knowledge. They're trying to rotate in. We'll see if they can find a spot in the zone here. We see Soaring Tigers does not have zone knowledge, and they are the Cascade team. So they're trying to go out and get some Evo caches and trying to figure out their things, but they have to be really careful, as we see Rutrow already making their way into Cascades, and they're going to have pick of the litter. The Cult are turbo rotating with the car towards Cascades. They do not have zone knowledge, but they are in a great spot if they kind of decide to grab one of these buildings. We also see Therapists on the move. Therapists are making another great rotate. They do have zone knowledge. They want to go for the compound here at bottom zip, and the Cult is already there. It looks like Therapists are going to get their building safely. They are on white. They've got to be careful. Lots of teams looking to find spots here, and looks like Rutrow elects to leave Cascades, and they're heading for the compound as well, as they are now on Waterfall, running into, and this is going to be 8th Gate, the winners of Game 2. So lots of teams scrambling around to find spots here in zone, as we see Ducking Illusion from Wall. They elect to play the top of Command Center, and they're about to run into 8th Gate. 8th Gate, I don't think has a clue that there's a team holding this door. And now they do. Crunch Ken on the flank is about to have some great angles here on Ducking Illusion. Ducking Illusion are able to get out of the way before getting knocked, but they are now relegated to this lower area, and it looks like 8th Gate's looking to get aggressive. Ducking Illusion decides to take what I believe they took the they took an altar queue through, and now they're stuck on top of Zip. So kind of a rough push out there, but let's see if 8th Gate's able to maintain this position as we see Oppenheimer walking up on them from Command Center. Elsewhere, we do see that Rutrow moves down into Cascades, and they're playing exactly where you recommended playing there, Anna. They're on the edge of Cascades. They've got a lot of flexibility from this building. They can play Cascades if they need to, or move out into the field if they need to. We also see Soaring Tigers, New Moose Squad taking the Figure 8 building within Cascades. So some teams starting to fill up Cascades. The compound is full up with Therapists and the Cult. And we do see Ducking Illusion very uncomfortable, as they have a lot of teams bumping into them. And that's going to be Wingmen, the team from North Pad, in between Ducking Illusion and Cleveland Forge. Very uncomfortable spot here for Wingmen, and they only have the Wraith to rotate. They don't have a Valk. They don't have an altar. I'm sorry, they do have an altar, and they elect to altar out back into Wall, and I like this play a lot. However, Cleveland Forge is already in Wall. This is very, very uncomfortable for these teams as they're trying to find spots. Righty goes down to 1 health on Cleveland Forge and ends up getting picked. They're going to try to pull Righty, but Cleveland Forge getting pressured from teams on the Wall. Righty does get recalled, and he's going to get rezzed. They're going to get rezzed, and it looks like Cleveland Forge might dodge a bullet, but they are getting pressed here, and they do get the pick, and that is going to be Wingmen. Great nades here from Teach the Youth. All right, this is Wingmen aggressing onto Cleveland Forge here as they find Moto Ducky. And Wingman does get eliminated at 19th. Elsewhere, we see T-Gun getting knocked in the feed. T-Gun running as a duo here near Cedo. They ran into KF Light. KF Light coming off of an absolute heater of a game. And they're not going to pursue T-Gun into Cedo. It looks like KF Light actually wants to rotate here into checkpoint. Kind of a crazy play. Cubano dying to zone. What the fuck? Where is that? That's Legally Advised up near... Ooh, Legally Advised getting knocked. And Legally Advised not... Oh my god. Legally Advised gets eliminated by Ducking Illusion. I kind of missed some of that. I'm actually really curious what happened there. It looks like they tried to wrap gas on the Wall side and they got caught out. PYC getting involved in that as well, as Caboose has a kill. So Wall, very, very messy early game. These teams are not happy to be running into each other, and a lot of fights breaking out as Wingmen is the unfortunate recipient of Cleveland Forge catching them on the hill.
So Giggle Gang does have the next zone.
And where are they?
They are. Oh my goodness.
I found it on two. I found it on two div. Yeah, so that next zone, it looks like it is going to be pulling out to this compound that Therapist and Cult are playing. Oppenheimer trying to play the tree. Oppenheimer maybe looking to get a little bit aggressive here and find a spot in zone in the compound. Obviously, both these buildings are taken, so they're trying to catch a team with their pants off as Ali trying to get some shots here with a longbow. But honestly, I don't think they're going to find a spot to play here. Looking like Ali just trying to scout it out on the altar. We do see 2Div flying into Cascades here. They find an open building. Even though they don't have the Valk, they blind fly into Cascades and get lucky and get a building into Cascades. This is a great spot for them as we see Cascades is basically filled up with Giggle Gang, 2Div, Rutro, and Soaring Tigers. Mango Mafia making their way in. They do not have the... Oh, they do have the next zone. They're making their way into this bottom village. And they're going to have a really tough spot because there's not much to play here. The only building in on bottom village is taken by Bandit Beaters. And Bandit Beaters, as we see on the crypto, are well aware of Mango Mafia's presence here. I should mention that Ali, I believe, gets a pick onto the Cult as the Cult might be getting their premier spot taken out. Ali takes out one on the Cult and then takes their building as Oppenheimer forcing their way into what I would consider maybe the best spot in zone now. What a play. I'm sorry I missed that. And the Cult is now forced out as I believe a duo. Let's see if we can find them. The Cult do reset on Waterfall, but now they've lost their building and they're gonna have to play these trees. What a play by Oppenheimer. Meanwhile, within Command Center, it looks like Be Happy is trying to get handsy here. This is gonna be with the winners of game 1, 8th Gate. 8th Gate does have the zone info, and they're looking to hold this team out in Command Center, so they have this entire north side to themselves. If they can hold out Be Happy, this would be a huge play by 8th Gate because whoever wins this fight is going to have a really nice spot in this zone as they're going to be controlling the top of the hill. We still have 17 squads here, only 2 squads dead as zone 2 closes. All right, so as zone 2 closes, these teams are going to be aware that this zone is going to be pulling out to this hillside and away a bit from Cascades. This is really tough for T-Gun. This is really tough for Mango Mafia as they're going to find their way in. A lot of these wall teams are going to have to collapse into zone here as we do see this zone. The next zone, it has been scanned by Be Happy. They are fighting though, and they do get 2 picks. Be Happy in a 3v1. This is against 8th Gate. They do catch Crunch Ken and Bronxosaur. Cat with finding the last person. Stab does go down, but it's still a 2v1 here. As Be Happy trying to clean up 8th Gate here, but this is difficult. And 8th Gate does get knocked out in 17th. So Be Happy killing 8th Gate in Command Center. That is a big win for Be Happy as now they'll be able to walk down through spiders and have control of the north side of zone. Meanwhile, in Wall, we've got a lot of fights going on here. Ducking Illusion leaving their building, and they are looking to get aggressive. This is on PYC, which is now a solo of a Valk. Stuck in Wall. They also got Cleveland Forge looking at this. Ducking Illusion trying to kill off the rest of PYC, and they are going to find the Valk. And that is going to be PYC eliminated in 16th as Ducking Illusion kills one of these teams on the north. They still have to make their way through Cleveland Forge, who may have gotten a couple kills there as well. Elsewhere, we see T-Gun trying to make some space inside of Cascades. They will be able to play this building, but they are sharing it with Wagon Station. So Wagon Station is playing the 2nd floor, and it looks like T-Gun is playing playing the roof. These are 2 teams that ran into each other a lot week 1. They are 2 rivals from Div 6 last season, and both really, I think, were not happy with their performances week 1. They will be okay here, even though it's a little bit cozy there on the south side. We do see Be Happy moving in, and they have control of the waterfall. This is a great spot for Be Happy. They got to be, if you will, happy with this position. I think Mango Mafia in one of the more awkward positions as we see them. They are sending KF Light as Therapace is eliminated. And it looks like Mango Mafia getting aggressive here on KF Light. And they will clean up KF Light there on the south side. They are not done with their job, though, as we see Giggle Gang getting involved. We also see 2Div looking at this. And potentially even Bandit Beaters as they're swinging along to look at this fight. Bandit Beaters getting a kill there, and that's on 2Div. So 2Div down to a duo here as they're kind of stuck in the middle. And a lot of these teams are going to have to fight out here. Really, really awkward position here for Giggle Gang. Just Gav left. And Just Gav is just dead. Giggle Gang goes down, and it looks like Bandit Beaters looking to clean this up. They are going to be fighting. That's EST Mango Mafia. EST and Mango Mafia has been fighting nonstop here. But OK Grim getting a knock there with the Kraber. Bandit Beaters have a 3v1 now. They see the solo running away, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get him. It looks like 2DIV might actually be the team to get the kill onto the solo. EST Mango Mafia does get killed out. We're down to 11 squads. It's been a bloody Zone 3. We see that the Cult is having their revenge on Oppenheimer as the Cult is sending into Oppenheimer here. They're now into, I believe, a 2v2. Be Happy is eliminated somehow by Rutro on top of Waterfall. And the Cult is 1 HP here as they try to stabilize. They are fighting with Oppenheimer here. As Lacey's gets knocked, it's just down to Zarufa. And the Cult is eliminated. That's going to be Ducking Illusion of all teams that take them down. And with the help of Oppenheimer from their building. Really, really big grief it looks like there from Oppenheimer. We're down to 9 squads. Very, very bloody zone close there. As it looks like Cleveland Forge now has control of the Waterfall. And they had help from Rutro, who knocked out Be Happy. This zone is going to be a really deadly fight here. I'm gonna watch. Let's watch Ducking Illusion as they siege Oppenheimer here in this building. I don't know if these teams are going to be able to coexist. We see Juicebox Slays getting eliminated. He and T-Gun getting eliminated. Both of them in Cascades. Those teams are in a really tough spot as T-Gun and Wagon Station taking some casualties. We see Ducking Illusion queue in onto Oppenheimer. This fight is going to break out. Ollie gets knocked, but so does Interstellar Duck. We're down to a 2v2. King Beast here in a fight with the cat on Oppenheimer. That might be Frank Newcastle. I think it's a 2v2 or a 2v1. He gets Bowdy. And now it's a 1v1. It's down to... And Oppenheimer does get eliminated. Sorry, go ahead, Anna.
No. I was just like making a noise because he went down.
Yeah, and Ducking Illusion does get killed off. Who got that kill? Awesome. That's going to be Cleveland Forge coming all the way over to kill off Ducking Illusion in a tragic end to that fight. So we are down to 6 squads of 17. So one team is a duo here. I'm trying to figure out who it is. Wagon Station back up to a 3-man. I think the duo might be Rutro. No, Rutro is a 3-man.
I think it's T-Gun.
You're right. It is T-Gun. Bandit Beaters fighting T-Gun here, and I think they're going to kill off T-Gun as it looks like Yager gets eliminated. T-Gun goes down. We're down to 5 of 15 as Bandit Beaters clear out the bottom of Cascades. Wagon Station and Rutro looking to fight each other. Rutro getting the kill on Average J. Juicebox Slays is now broken. Rutro looking to clean up Wagon Station here, but there are cat queues everywhere. Juicebox Slay is really low here. Unfortunately, their Newcastle is knocked, so they can't reset. Juicebox Slay is about to get knocked here for Wagon Station, but he does find a knock on Rutro, and he's trying to get this finish, but he gets knocked, and that's going to be Rutro cleaning it up. Rutro now getting thirded. This is going to be Bandit Beaters and Rutro breaking out. Bandit Beaters full health, looking to kill off Rutro. Can Rutro reset? Rutro retreats into their building, but the zone is coming. And that's going to be really rough for Rutro, as Bandit Beaters also taking a lot of zone damage. We see Rutro eliminated. Beta Beater's down to a solo of Beast Meme Lord. He gets the wall off, but will it be enough? No, it will not, as we are down to a final 3v3 between Cleveland Forge and 2Div. I think this has got, the advantage has got to go to Cleveland Forge here as they take the height. Both teams relatively healthy. We see Awesome on the Kraber. He does get a Kraber shot off on the Crypto of 2Div. But Cleveland Forge taking a lot of damage here. Not able to capitalize on the Kraber shot. Another Kraber shot here. As Awesome going nuclear, he cues through and he's getting aggressive. Immediately gets put down. We're in a 2v1 here as Cleveland Forge looking to reset, and Cleveland Forge does take the win. Wow. What a bloody game. What an absolute bloodbath of a game. I tried to like follow the action there, but there were so many fights, and like we had a lot of fights happening on the north side as the wall teams started to collapse on each other, and we had the Cascades teams also fighting. We had a really bloody fight there for the field that 2Div, I believe, ended up winning, where EST and Mango Mafia was getting really handsies on KF Light, and there's a couple other teams down there. So what a very, very bloody ending to our game, but great win there from Cleveland Forge. That was the third place team from week 1. Anna, you want to go through our game 3 scores?
Yeah, so that pushes Bandit Beaters up to first place, actually, up 2 spots.
Wow.
With 20 kills. Followed by 2Div, up 3 spots. Cleveland Forge up 6 spots from that win. Soaring Tigers drops down 2 spots in 4th place. 8th Gate drops down 4 places in 5th place. Mango Mafia is a steady 6th place. KF Light drops down 3 spots to 7. Rutro still in 8th. Bucking Illusion up 1 more spot in 9th place. And Legally Advised drops down 3 in 10th place.
Wow. So a lot of movement there, as you mentioned, and it looks like, I mean, I'm really surprised. Bandit Beaters, they get second there overall in that game. Let's see.
They do have the most kills overall too as a team.
They did. They ended up 3rd placement, but they get 10th, and that moves them up to the first spot. So a little bit surprising there as they take over the number 1 spot. But we got a tight overall race here as we've got 2 teams. We got Cleveland Forge in 31, 2Div in 33. And Bandit Beaters at 40. So that first place spot is highly contested. I think a surprise for me, and I mean, I wonder if you're seeing this as, I mean, Therapist, the number 1 team from last week that had a monster Storm Point, back-to-back wins on Storm Point. They are in last place with 2 points. Kind of a surprise for me.
Yeah, last week we were talking about how great their positioning was for most of the Storm Point games specifically.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure one of their IGL won for best IGL of the week.
Yep, that's correct.
So
Dan,
it's pretty shocking to see them now all the way at the bottom. I do think they are moving into zone at a good pace. They do kind of know where they're going, but it looks like there's unfortunate things or they're not being able to finish their fights.
I think that's a phenomenal point. I actually think that's such a great point. They were playing from Command Center, and they really did rotate very well the first 3 games in Storm Point. They found great spots, as you mentioned, but then they kind of just failed to execute or stay alive. We saw them losing players early or maybe losing their 3v3s. They had really premier spots all 3 of those games and just didn't really execute. So I think that's a really, really good observation there. Another surprise for me is Oppenheimer. They had a slow start last week. They're in 11th right now. They had a slow start last week, and they finished really strong, so we'll see how they do. I like how they've been playing. They've been finding really good spots, but similar to Therapist, it doesn't seem like they're able to really quite make it into those end games. So I would say a really interesting first half here. Looking at the individual players here, our kill leader is Twiz from EST Mango Mafia on the Sparrow with 9 kills. So really great job from Twiz here. He's got 3k damage. Doing a lot of work for EST Mango Mafia. We saw them getting really aggressive last game, and they did a great job clearing their edge. They did end up going down, but they got a lot of kills on the way there. 2Div also having quite the night here. Free BK in second with 8 kills. OK Grim, our MVP from last week, showing why he's MVP on Bandit Beaters. They're in first place. He's got 7 kills. His teammate, You For Real Diggin, also with 7 kills. Hatch with 7 kills. Flying Dutchman on KF Light with 7 kills. And Awesome on Cleveland Forge with 7 kills. So a lot of these top performers, they're individually also playing very, very well. Let's see who our damage dealer is for the night. No surprise here. It's Stinkerson, the damage machine himself on Rutrow on the Maggie with 5k damage. All right, so we're moving into game 4 here. We're moving over to World's Edge. I think we've got a lot of different... I think we're going to have a lot of shakeup here, as many of the teams that had really, really good POIs on Stormpoint are going to have to take much worse spots on World's Edge. I want to call out the Cult here. They've got Sky West. I want to see them have a really nice big rebound. I think they're playing a lot better this week than they played last week. Sky West, of course, being one of the best positions on World's Edge. I think it's probably the premier or the best POI on World's Edge. So I want to see the Cult have a really nice World's Edge here in the second half of our games. Any other things you're seeing here, Anna, after our halfway point on the night?
So everyone's kind of switched over to Watson, which isn't too surprising.
Good call.
Lots of Watsons, lots of Valks.
Yeah, great call on the Watson. And it looks like, just like last week, it was a cap ban. So we have Caustic, Rampart, cap ban. So Watson being the last controller legend available. This is Div 4. They are just working their way through the controllers. And we already see Hacks getting a kill. That's going to be on Soaring Tigers. The hell is that? Hacks getting a kill. He does get his finish. Soaring Tigers in no name, and he's feuding with Frag East, and it looks like Wingmen, they are a team that will not shy away from an early fight, and they want to get aggressive. Hacks in a 2v1 here, as I love this. Wingman says no, we're gonna look at this. Modal Ducky looking to get angles on Hacks. Lame Train trying to get the banner, and I don't know if Hacks is ratting this or if he's even aware they're here. He is aware they're here. 90 shot from the bow on Hacks here, and he might just try to 2v1 here, as it looks like Modal trying to get the... Oh my god. Hacks denying the res here on Modal, and he's cracked both of Wingman. He says bring it in a 1v2. If Modal gets the res off here, Hacks is going to have to retreat, and it looks like they do. They do get the res, and Hacks going off into the tunnel. There's no team landing Geyser, but we already see PYC making their way up from Mod. Hacks is going to move into the tunnel, and it looks like Wingman is going to now be a full 3-man. What a crazy start. You usually don't see early picks like that breaking out on World's Edge, as we see PYC already sliding in from Mod, running into Wingman. Wingman with a really rough night so far. They were fighting from North Pad on Stormpoint, and now they're already having trouble from Frag East. Big shots here from Trickshot as they run into Wingman, and it looks like PYC not shying away from this fight. Paka with the swing, and it looks like PYC looking to get involved here. They're going to get the zone scan, and they do get a pick on That's Fair on the Wingman. So PYC already sending Wingman back into a down 2. Wingman get a pick, and now it's a 2v1 as PYC looking for the last Wingman. Unfortunately, Caboose does get eliminated. The EMP coming out here. PYC trying to get some stability here in the building. Meanwhile, Hova getting a pick on Blue Greek. Hacks also getting involved here, and Wingman gets eliminated as Hacks catches Lame Train. So Wingman with a really rough start here on Fragment POI, and now they're getting sent by, and this is Soaring Tiger, and this is a 2v3 as PYC trying to hold out Soaring Tiger here. Soaring Tiger landing Overlook, and they may be aware that this is a duo. Love the Watson fences here as Paka trying to hold out PYC. Off screen, we see Go-Go Gang getting eliminated. A big knock here from Pakanot as he gets a knock on Nemo, but he gets knocked by Winter Deadeye, and it's down to Trickshot as a solo here. And I think Soaring Tigers are going to clean this out. They do. PYC is eliminated in 17th. So we already have 3 teams eliminated. Crazy start to World's Edge here as we see Therapist rotating in from Fissure. Legally Advised running under Therapist here as Therapists fly over them. Therapists elect to go into Sky West. Legally Advised from Sky East are moving into Countdown. Let's see if we've got any other fights here. I did see Rutro in the kill feed as Hova got a kill. It looks like we're still seeing fights here. Storm Tiger has been fighting this entire game. We see Numu is knocked, Hax is knocked, and it's down to Winter Deadeye as he's in a 1v3, and they get eliminated very quickly in 16th, and that is going to be that's going to be Cleveland Forge that eliminates them. They've got 2 div, I believe. No, that's 8th gate below them. So a lot of fights breaking out here on this eastern side. Wow, I am not familiar with seeing this much fighting on World's Edge early games. All right, so looking at Zone 2, it looks like this is going to pull either to Monument or maybe to that no-name grandmother's house area north of Monument. We see Rutro already in a phenomenal position. Stinkerson already with a kill. As Rutro has 1 KP, they're set up in grandmother's house. That's going to be a great spot. They already have human on purple. So they've got to be happy with that. We see 2 divs next to them in the RV. They've also got a great spot there. We see Be Happy trying to find a spot. This is kind of awkward for Be Happy as they do have, this is Legally Advised walking up on them. We also see Therapist in an early game fight here. They're going to be fighting with the Colts from Sky West. Therapist coming from Fissure, kind of getting stuck here in Sky West. And I think this fight is going to break out pretty isolated. Great. Wow, great vert days. And they do get the knock there on Indigo. Indigo trying to get away. Summer Lane sending this. They have a 3v2, and they have a pretty isolated fight here in Sky East. Or, I'm sorry, Sky West.
KP that they really need to bump up just a little bit.
Yeah, great point. I think Therapists are going to be hungry after their slow start. They want to take this fight. Slumber slings in, but gets knocked. Overrated Max gets a second kill here, but it's down to Ernst chasing the solo, and Lazy's was res, so we're now in a 1v1. Therapist down to one player as Indigo trying to hold off. I'm not sure who this is. Great shots by Indigo, but they do go out. And that's going to be Sen. That's Legally Advised. Oh my god, that's Legally Advised. Legally Advised comes in third parties and kills Therapist and the Colts. What the fuck? I was like, who is that? Who's sending them? And that was Sen. Somehow Legally Advised come down the tunnel and kill off the teams in Sky West. That is absolutely tragic for both the Cult and Therapist. You hate to see it.
Hate to see it.
Absolutely hate to see it. We see Tigon is on the run as they lose Trivial. It's down to Yager on the Pathfinder, his comfort pick, and Turtle on the Bang. They are running away. They have 1 down, and they are down to Cleveland Forge, who finds some picks here on the south side of zone. Elsewhere, we see Ducking Illusion making their way in. I believe Ducking Illusion landing Thermal, so they've had a very quiet game. We see Legally Advised now trying to rotate in, and they're going to try to take this north spot, but they're going to have a hard time taking this spot as we see Be Happy now in the tunnel. We've got Rutro in Grandmother's house, and we've got 2 divs still in the RV. So these teams have great spots. I'm not sure how much Legally Advised is going to be able to play this. They don't have a controller legend, so they're going to look to take a fight here as they're on Lifeline. What do you think of the Lifeline here, Anna?
I was just about to ask because I noticed in Stormpoint, Sen played Gibby. And Sen played a really good Gibby.
Mm-hmm.
Now Sen's on Lifeline. And so I wonder the thought process behind that switch.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, obviously very, very, very untraditional or unconventional with a lifeline pick. But as you mentioned, they played Gibby from game one on start point, because this is a team that's really trying to cook with their comps and trying to play to their strengths. We'll have to see how it plays out for them. I think they are aware that there's a team in tunnel as we see them gas wrapping. Big Nate charging up the Sentinel here. We'll see if they catch Be Happy unawares as they are gas wrapping Big Happy. Let's see if Sen's able to get a pick here. They are aware of Big Happy. Is Be Happy aware of them? I don't think Be Happy is aware of them as they sneak in from the gas side. And they're looking to get a pick here. Okay, they open up their shots here. They find the Newcastle on Be Happy, and they know that Be Happy is split as Big Nate is looking down. They're going to swing here on Be Happy. They get the pick on Stab Jackal. And they get the pick on Cat. So Be Happy down to a solo Newcastle. And that is absolutely devastating.
What a play.
What a fucking play. Holy
What
shit.
a play.
Legally Advised is absolutely cooking with the lifeline bang and Sparrow. God, I had a huge brain fart. Where is this Newcastle? Who got out? It's Captain Kevin, the Newcastle, getting all the way out to climb, or I'm sorry, to Epicenter, crafting right under the nose, and he's rezzing right underneath KF Light. And KF Light,
but Stab wasn't down yet.
yeah, KF Light is not going to let this happen. KF Light's about to nuke the shit out of Kevin. They see him, and that's going to be game for Be Happy. Be Happy goes from having one of the best spots in zone to now being out in 13th. Absolutely tragic. Incredible play there by Legally Advised. All right.
It goes to show you've got to watch your back.
Got to watch your back. It's never safe in the gas as we see Cleveland Forge and T-Gun continue to feud here in Fragment. They are in streamer building. It looks like Cleveland Forge a little bit backed up into a corner. Let's see if T-Gun can take advantage of it. I'm not sure how much T-Gun wants to fight. It looks like T-Gun is a duo. Cleveland Forge also doesn't want to fight. T-Gun is a full 3, and they push Cleveland Forge out. Cleveland Forge elects to rotate north and not take the fight as things get a little bit hairy in Fragment. So zone pulling back into Monument here. So not great for Rutro as they're now stuck playing the edge of this hill, and they are taking a lot of shots, and that's going to be Ducking Illusion looking at them. Ducking Illusion maybe getting aggressive as they have a lot of entry damage. Meanwhile, we see Legally Advised continuing their rampage of death in Epicenter as they get a pick onto KF Light. Legally Advised taking so much space here as LA Big Nate gets a knock onto Delta. That's going to be on EST Mango Mafia also getting in the mix. I believe this is KF Light that's getting really hard pinched here. Flying Dutchman's the only one alive, and he's about to go down. LA Nate does get knocked onto Legally Advised, and he gets full killed. So EST Mango putting Legally Advised into a duo. And it looks like Legally Advised actually losing this 3v3. They do. They get absolutely mopped by Mango Mafia. And meanwhile, Flying Dutchman able to it's Hatch. Hatch able to rat it out and stay alive. Off screen, Rutro absolutely mops the floor with Ducking Illusion. And we're at 10 teams. KF Light does get eliminated as Hatch gets killed.
He put up a good fight, though, before he went down.
Rutro trying to stabilize here. I think they will be able to stabilize as they get the kill into Ducking Illusion on the west side of zone. They do have Oppenheimer looking at them. Meanwhile, zone pulls a little bit north of Monument. And this continues just to be such a hairy zone as T-Gun somehow stays alive. There's 9 squads left. They're looking to get aggressive on this EST Mango. But they're going to be fighting uphill. Good shots coming out here from Turtle. EST Mango gets a... I think, is that a Gibby bubble? What did I just see? Is that a Gibby bubble? It's a fucking Gibby bubble. T-Gun with a great shots here from Turtle. Huge fucking swing here from this is Turtle just going nuclear. And T-Gun absolutely annihilates Mango Mafia. That's a T-Gun of Season 12 I like to see. Meanwhile, Cleveland Forge trying to hold out. This is bandit beaters below them in this building. Let's see if they can coexist. Big damage here from Cleveland Forge as they start to get aggressive, but they're taking a lot of damage as well. I don't know if they're going to be able to make that swing. Up north, we've got Rutro as a full 3. They're looking to get some angles here on 2div. 2div still in the crypto. They will be aware of Rutro on this side. We're on 8 squads of 24. All teams are full 3. The EMP comes out, and that's going to be Rutro's EMP, and they are the ones taking advantage here. 2div getting absolutely rolled by Rutro, down to 1 of Drone Bettis, and I think Stinkerson about to just clean up Drone Bettis. He's the final one alive. Rutro looking for the final kill here. What a swing. I wish I saw that from Rutro's perspective. They're looking for the crypto here. Somehow 2div staying alive here, avoiding the Rutro annihilation. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer, again, Ollie with the Kraber, looking to clean up. That's going to be Wagon Station that they are in a building with. They have to clean their sides. We see that off screen, the fight does break out between, that was Cleveland Forge and Bandit Beaters. Bandit Beaters getting the best of Cleveland Forge in that building. We are down to 7 squads of 19. Teach the Youth getting a kill. Bandit Beaters getting cleaned up, it looks like. They're down to a duo. They are trying to get the res here. We also have 8th Gate looking to get involved in this Oppenheimer fight. I'm on with Ollie here, seeing if she can get any picks with the Kraber. Zone is about to close in, and all these teams from Monument are going to have to make the very, very treacherous way up north. As we see Ollie with the Kraber, they're about to run into 8th Gate and into Wagon Station. They queue out onto 8th Gate here. Ollie swings out, gets knocked. Some trades as Oppenheimer down to a solo here. Great shots from Frank Newcastle as he cleans up 8th Gate. Wow, what a fucking job there. We see a huge fight north here as Bandit Beaters fighting T-Gun. T-Gun gets eliminated. Rutro gets eliminated. Bandit Beaters absolutely takes out north side. I don't know how the fuck they took north there. It looks like Rutro and T-Gun got into a fight, and then Bandit Beaters third-partied them. We now see Bandit Beaters in the final 3. Somehow Drone Bennis is in drone staying alive as a solo here. Somehow. This is going to be a 3v3v1 as Bandit Beaters makes the swing here.
We found the solo.
Oh, Juicebox plays on Wagon Station getting the kill. So this is now a 3v3 of 2div. I'm sorry, of Wagon Station and Bandit Beaters. Bandit Beaters are aggressing onto Wagon Station here. Great shots here from the MVP of week 1, OK Grim, as he gets the final kill. Bandit Beaters are your Game 4 champion. Wow.
They are killing it tonight.
They really are, and it's cool to see this team. You know, they were really hobbled as a duo week 1, even though OK Grim did get the MVP with their heroic effort. Them as a 3 stack is no team to be underestimated. All right, so Anna, if you want to go through our overall scores through 4 games.
All right.
And my overstat crashed. I don't know about yours.
Right, yes.
Okay, well, let's go through, maybe go into in-game and go through the match summary then of our top 10.
So, Bandit Beaters takes first place this match with a whopping 7 kills.
Yep.
Right? That adds on to their 20 kills. So it's almost 30 kills so far for the night. Wagon Station second place with 2 kills. Third place for this match, 2div. No kills. Fourth place, Rutro, 8 kills. Fifth place, T-Gun, 4 kills, which I'm excited to see because I feel like they kind of didn't do too great on Storm Point.
Agreed.
Oppenheimer, 6th place, 3 kills. 8th place, 7th place, 7th place, 8th Gate, 2 kills. Cleveland Forge down to 8th place with 3 kills. Having won the other game, and then Mango Mafia, 9th place, 3 kills. Cave Light, 10th place.
Yeah, it's really
of
cool.
this game.
Rutrow with a monster game there, getting fourth with 8 kills. We'd miss kind of. I don't know if you were on it, but I missed the northern fight between Rutrow, T Gun, and Bandit Beaters. But clearly that decided a lot of the fights. I was really interested to see that. It's interesting that Bandit Beaters were able to extradite. They were able to res their third player and then extradite themselves from Monument, go up into Icicles, and then third party that fight. So really phenomenal play by them. And I'm sorry that I missed it. Let's see if is your overstat working yet or no? Mine's not.
It's not. It's like completely empty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here. Same here. Okay, that's unfortunate. But yeah, so looking at this game, as you mentioned, monster game from Bandit Beaters, they've been having an absolute a heater of a night. And if I recall correctly, they were in first place going into this game, so they're going to only extend their lead. Wagon Station and T Gun, two teams that ended 19th and 20th last week, having a great game 4 though, as you mentioned, really nice to see from them as they're finding their stride. So good to see them getting top 5 and getting some kills. 2div, I mean, big shout out to our boy Drone Bettis, or our friend Drone Bettis. They stayed alive as 2div in the drone the whole time. I think 2div, they got cleaned out by Rutrow right around 10th. And somehow Drone Bettis getting them a top 3 is phenomenal job there by the crypto. So really, I would say that was kind of a tough zone. You know, that zone, I think that zone is really tough, honestly, because the power positions are up the hill, but there's no buildings to play in those power positions. And then if you play the buildings in Monument, you have to make that really treacherous, exit out of the buildings up into the open space, as we saw Oppenheimer, 8th Gate, Cleveland Forge, and others dying on that edge. So yeah, I also want to mention Legally Advised with the 5 kills and 11th. Really, we've had a lot of fun watching them. I think it's been really cool to see them playing really unconventional comps. We saw the really nice zone wrap by them in Tunnel as they caught off. I believe that was KF Light in Tunnel. Or no, that was Be Happy. I'm sorry. They caught Be Happy in Tunnel. And that was a nice little play by them. Definitely trying to find their stride with weird comps. Seeing a lifeline in comp is not that common, so that's kind of neat to see. I also, we see Soaring Tigers in 16th with 4 kills, PYC in 17th with 2 kills. Very, very bloody early game for a World's Edge. Typically World's Edge is it's a kind of a solved map. It's one of the oldest maps, so like teams typically don't have to fight that often. And we saw, I really think it was Hacks kind of kicking it all off with the pick and no name outside of Fragment East. And I'm excited to see how Wingmen respond. Wingmen being the Frag East, being the Fragment POI, they have the option to send, maybe 2 people out to that no name village and challenge Hacks, who's landing over Overlook. And that'll be really interesting to see in these final 2 games if they end up skirmishing early game. So it looks like we have confirmation from the lobby that overstat is broken. Let's see if we can get any refreshes on the overstat page. Is it up for you?
It is not.
Any other thoughts? I mean, obviously we don't have the overall rankings, but any other thoughts after 4 games about our first matches? I'm trying to count here, and it looks like maybe Watson is banned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 Watsons. Who else is close? Alter, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, only 9 alters. So I think Watson is going to be banned here, which means that we're going to cycle back through controllers. Which is kind of wild. We talked about this a lot week 1. That's kind of uncommon to see in VESA. Typically in VESA, you see, some controllers banned, and then you start to see, maybe Newcastle, Crypto, maybe Alter or Valk banned. But Div 4 has been really religiously sticking to their controller gameplay. And it does look like we're about to kick off game 5 here. Let me see if I can get overstat up, if it's working now. It is working, and it does look like Watson is banned. So while we're kicking off game 5, do you want to walk us through our top 10 overall positions right now?
Yeah, so Bandit Beater stays in first place, unsurprisingly, with 59 points.
Yep.
2 Division, second place. They have really good placement almost every game.
Yep.
Cleveland Forge, third place. Row in fourth. Eighth Gate in fifth. Soaring Tigers in sixth. Mango Mafia in seventh. I think they go down one. KF Light in eighth. Legally Advised in ninth. And Wagon Station in 10th, pushing Ducking Illusion down.
That's awesome. Yeah, we see Wagon Station breaking into the top 10. That's really cool to see them there. Again, just throwing it out there. Therapist in last place, our first place team from week 1. They had a heartbreaker over in Sky West as they were fighting with who do you remember? Oh, that was with the Cult. They were fighting with the Cult in Sky West, and they got third partied by Legally Advised out of nowhere. And I think that was kind of a heartbreaker for them as they were starting to get a little bit of momentum.
They
Yeah.
almost had that last shot.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a heartbreaker. As you mentioned, no surprise, Bandit Beaters with the winners of Game 4, they extend their lead. They are now 19 points ahead of 2Div in second. In terms of individual performances, let's look at our kill leader. Our kill leader is OK Grim, the MVP from week 1. Showing why they got MVP. They got 11 kills on Bandit Beaters, leading the charge. Awesome right behind them with 10. Twiz with 10, also from EST Mafia. Looking at damage, is it still Stinkerson? It still is Stinkerson. The man is an absolute machine on damage on the Maggie with 6,800 damage. So let's see. Where was Rutrow ending that? Rutrow is in 4th. Okay, so Rutrow is really in the conversation. They are only 6 points behind second. So let's see if Rutrow can continue to climb as Stinkerson is the damage leader moving into game 5. All right, so looking at the game 5. Oh, what the fuck? I'm seeing a bunch of Watson, but wasn't Watson banned?
I think because Overstat was bugged, I don't think they were able to ban Watson.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. What the fuck? Okay, so Watson is back despite being banned in game 4. We see tons of Watsons in game 5. I want to point out that Wingman on the conduit, and Wingman already getting handsy, as we mentioned. This time, instead of going into hacks, they leave hacks alone, and they start to get aggressive on Oppenheimer in Monument. So this fight's starting to break out. Oppenheimer with the fuse. We'll see if they're able to put him to good use. How do you like Fuse after the rework, Anna?
I think he's really, really fun.
Yeah.
But you still don't see a lot of people playing him, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the knuckle clusters are fun to bounce with and stuff. I'm not sure how viable he is for comp. We see Oppenheimer starting to get aggressive here, and this is on Wingman. Wingman loves to fight early. Frank Newcastle does get a pick onto Modal Ducky, so now Oppenheimer in a 3v2. Lame Train also goes down. Oppenheimer now in a 3v1. Ollie looking for the final kill as Oppenheimer trying to track this down. It's going to be That's Fair running for their life on the Sparrow. And I'm not sure if Oppenheimer is going to be able to catch them. Frank with some good sprays here. They are cracked, but I think they might escape. They do escape as we see T-Gun also getting in a fight here. And that's going to be... Where the fuck is that? I don't know where that is. But we do see Rutrow fighting. Stinkerson getting a pick. And this is on Stromboli. This is all down in Thermal. The zone is pulling to Thermal. And this is... Rutrow getting really aggressive here on the Stromboli. I can't remember which team this is. I think this is either 2Div or 8th Gate. As Sink gets put down. Who was that?
I don't know.
I can't remember
From
either.
Bully's team?
Yeah.
I won't even let me click it.
I know, it won't let me click it either. Let me see if I can get it on here. Wow, we're down to a 1v1 Hova here.
It's 2div.
2div. Okay, 2div. Hova in a 1v1 here on the Watson. As 2div, I believe it's a 1v1. Hova gets killed! Oh my fucking god! What an upset there as 2div wins the 2v3 against Rutro, and you know humans not happy with that.
And 2div's in second place. They just need a little bit more KP, and that might push them up.
Yep, as
Bandit beaters.
Freak BK is the kill leader with 3 kills, and Rutro is got to be absolutely devastated. That was their fight to win. This is absolutely pulling down into the thermal as the fights start to break out. We also see Be Happy as a duo. They are getting aggressed on by a team that I cannot remember either.
Giggle Gang.
Thank you. They go by Giggle Gang. This is Blue Greek's team. Huge shots from Cat here. As oh my god. Be Happy saying, be the fuck out, Giggle Gang. That was terrible, but whatever. Giggle Gang gets put down. The cult also getting put down from Sky West, and you gotta know the cult is unhappy with that as Legally Advised again kills off the cult in Countdown, and that's really unfortunate for the cult as they've had a bit of an underwhelming set year. I was hoping for big things from them from Sky West. PYC trying to get aggressive here on Be Happy as Be Happy resets, tries to hold the glass. Therapist thought about thirding it, but they back out as they take some big damage. Therapist trying to get their bearings here, and they are struggling. Meanwhile, it looks like Thermal is well behaved as everyone takes spots. I think 2div in a great position here. Looking at this zone 2 that 2div has, where do you think this is going to pull?
Let me pull the map.
2div has it if you need it.
I think north of Thermal.
Yeah. Maybe up to 2div, maybe over to Wagon Station. I agree. I think it's going to pull off to this northwest side or west side. I actually really like where Therapists are. If they can hold this choke effectively, they can have a really nice walk up wherever the zone pulls. So we'll have to watch how that game goes. We are down to 15 squads of 45. We see 2div getting a pick, but I don't know if they're going to be able to aggress on it. It looks like 2div decides they're looking at taking the donut. Do you see this? You see Freak taking the rotate.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting play there.
Yeah.
I personally, I mean, the donut isn't bad. I kind of like holding the houses on the hillside. It gives you a little bit more flexibility if zone pulls back up north. But we'll see how this plays out for them. It looks like it's relatively quiet outside of that. We've got 8th Gate backing out of a fight of Ducking Illusion. Ducking Illusion does have a kill. They have killed a team. I missed that, whoever they killed. I'm loving the Sentinel gameplay by our Div 4s. It looks like Ducking Illusion may be going to take this fight, and this is on 8th Gate. Very isolated fight. We see that there's no one around. 8th Gate kind of backed into this building. Let's see how Ducking Illusion approaches this as we see Diamond getting aggressive here on the altar. 8th Gate really backed into this little tiny room as Ducking Illusion has got them well surrounded. They also have the information from the crypto, so they know where everyone is. I think Ducking Illusion wants to take this fight. And we see the Interstellar Duck with a great opening pick. Huge shots here from the Interstellar Duck as they go down to 1. Ducking Illusion with a lot of damage here, but they have 8th Gate on the back foot as King Beast gets knocked. And it looks like Ducking Illusion is going to have to back out of this fight and pull back King Beast. Meanwhile, Hax gets involved, and Soaring Tigers comes to third this. Really unfortunate there for Ducking Illusion, as they're now sent as a duo, and they're going to have to craft up their IGL King Beast. Soaring Tigers trying to get involved, and I think 8th Gate also a duo, as Bronxosaur is full killed. Really unfortunate for them. We also see Cleveland Forge looking to get involved. Lots of teams looking at this in Tree. We see Oppenheimer on the rotate, a team that typically likes to play hard zone, now maybe having to get involved on the edge as they have the fuse. 8th Gate Valk ulting out as a duo, trying to just get over into Thermal and maybe reset as a full 3. We'll have to keep our eyes on Legally Advised as they're on the north side. They're going to be moving their way into potentially into Therapist's choke. They've also got, this is KF Light in the village outside of staging and Menage a Trois. KF Light, by the way, Anna, has the next zone. And it looks like the next zone, while pulling into Thermal, isn't touching. So we'll have to keep an eye on where this zone pulls. It may pull out to those houses that PYC are playing. Meanwhile, Legally Advised getting aggressive here onto Therapists. This is going to be a really big fight here. Let's see if Therapist can get some momentum going as Cubano takes a lot of damage. Cubano getting knocked by Dan. He gets instantly lifeline rezzed as Sen is holding the res here. Big knock by Sen, but it's only one here as Cubano. Cubano gets shot in the back and killed by Delta, and that's KF Light that griefs. Legally Advised, that's absolutely tragic.
I was going to say, it's kind of a payback for the first game.
True,
Payback,
true. Legally Advised has been griefing everyone's game, but unfortunately, Therapist always on the receiving end of the grief, as Overrated Max is a solo here, trying to rat it out. Therapist, unfortunately, down to a solo. As we see some teams move in, it looks like Soaring Tigers are right underneath Oppenheimer on the southeast side of the zone. We also see 8th Gate, a full 3, moving in from the south. Everyone looking like they can coexist. EST Mango Mafia will have to move, and they are right next to, I think this is this Be Happy? Yeah, this is Be Happy. Crazy rotate, by the way. Be Happy was playing in staging, and somehow they make it all the way here to this Thermal Village. We are at 14 squads of 40. Overrated Max is going to be a solo for the rest of the game, as Therapists have just not had a great night. Everyone looks like they're kind of coexisting. I would be surprised if Soaring Tigers plays polite, as we see Hax trying to get something going here for his squad. Hax was the fragger of the week last week here with the Mythic Skin R9. Getting aggressive on Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, the Fuse ult comes out and wrecks Winter Deadeye. Ollie getting the kill on Winter Deadeye. Hax has to go back down, and now Soaring Tiger on their back foot as a duo, as Ollie gets their full kill. Override Max does get found out by Delta. So Therapist out in 14th. Soaring Tiger's down to a duo, and you know they can't be happy as they do get Sparrow ulted here. And that is going to be Wingman getting aggressive. I don't know if Wingman is aware that Oppenheimer is right above them, and I can't see Soaring Tigers getting out of this. Meanwhile, Lama Train gets knocked. That's fair. Losing a lot, and now it's down to just Ducky. Ducky backing up as the third party goes horribly awry for Wingman, and they get eliminated. KF Light killed off screen. Lots of kills going on here on the southern side. Somehow Soaring Tiger is still alive as a duo. Be Happy gets eliminated. That's on this side, and they get eliminated by Cleveland Forge. Meanwhile, it looks like Oppenheimer Just sort of cleaning up the southeast side of zone as Ducking Illusion makes their way down to look at it. The zone does pull to this north side. As we mentioned, PYC in a great spot. They've got a Kraber with infinite ammo. Caboose trying to kill this team running. I'm not sure who that is. That's Wagon Station. Meanwhile, Teach the Youth gets knocked. Cleveland Forge getting sent by, this is EST Mango Mafia sending Cleveland Forge, and this is going to be a really deadly fight here as on edge of zone. The massive shots just not hitting, but they do get the job done. EST Mango Mafia stays up as a full 3. They're going to be making their way from the south as they run across this field straight into, this is 2 Div. Free BK still the kill leader after killing off Rutro, and he's looking to get some more here on to EST Mango Mafia. EST Mango Mafia with a crazy rotate. They're on 1 health here as we see Xander, last alive, looking to survive. Trying to rat this out. We got Wagon Station and 2 Div on top of each other. We've got Bandit Beaters on height. We've got, underneath them, we've got Soaring Tigers somehow making their way into the bottom. How the fuck are Soaring Tigers alive here? I missed that. Zone pulls back down to the mid-thermal. And we got Ducking Illusion on the north side with PNY and with 8th Gate. This is going to be a really deadly end zone as we've got 8 teams of 22. 1 rat with EST Mafia as the rat. The rest of the 7 teams on a full 3.
I like Grim Spot a lot in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, Bandit Beaters.
They have an altar under them directly, so that's a little bit.
A little sketchy, but Bandit Beaters in a
Right.
great spot. And as the top team, it looks like Mango Mafia getting eliminated here by Winter Deadeye. And that's going to be the team on the bottom. That's Soaring Tigers. Soaring Tigers resetting on the bottom here. They are getting EMP'd, but it looks like they'll be okay. Juicebox Slay is getting eliminated by Bandit Beaters. He's getting killed here as it looks like the teams on Donut are trying to rotate in. Wagon Station and 2 Div. 2 Div walking up. They're down to a duo. Meanwhile, in the north, we got a big fight here. 8th Gate down to solo of Bronxosaur. They're fighting PNY. Look at all these knocks. I believe this is a 1v1 with PNY. Bronxosaur against PNY's Valk. If PNY can stay alive, whoever stays alive here gets a lot of KP. Bronxosaur is going to somehow stay alive. Holy fuck. Oh no, 8th Gate goes down, and now PNY is the team that survives that. That's Trick Shot. Bandit Beaters gets eliminated. What the fuck?
My goats.
Soaring Tigers, like Anna predicted, Soaring Tigers queue up and kill Bandit Beaters on the height. That is a crazy swing by Soaring Tigers, and now they are in the power position. They were resetting with a full 3.
Crazy for them, right? Like, I think they'd bump up a few places if they got a win.
I believe Soaring Tigers was in 6th, so that's a huge, huge deal. Ducking Illusion, cleaning up the north side. Ducking Illusion, I'm going to stay on with Ducking Illusion here, as we have a 3v3 for the final 2. It is Soaring Tigers against Ducking Illusion, and these are some of the best fighting teams in the lobby. We see Diamond with the Kraber looking at height. They are aware of where Soaring Tigers are. Let's see if Numu's squad can get it done here. They do get Nemutoad's drone. One Kraber shot could be a big deal here. Diamond looking for the opening. Diamond makes the cross. And it looks like Winter goes down first. Can Ducking take advantage of it? It's a 2v2. It's down to just King Beast, but it's going to be Soaring Tigers taking the win.
This is the win they've been looking for all night. They get so close every time.
Yep. Phenomenal job by them. I'm sorry I missed the queue up, but Anna totally predicted it. The only thing that threatened Bandit Beaters was the queue up, and Bandit Beaters get cleaned up by Soaring Tigers taking the height, and then Soaring Tigers able to take the 3v3 against Ducking Illusion and win the game. Shout out to Winner Deadeye, who I know is subbing, Hacks, and Nematode. All right. Do you want to go over our overall scores after 5 games?
Yeah, so Bandit Beaters is still in the lead. They've got an 11-point lead. Soaring Tigers moves up 4 places to second place. However, they are tied with 2div. So they both have 54 points. 8th Gate in 4th place. Ducking Illusion moves up 6 places for that second place in 5th place now overall. Cleveland Forge drops 3 places in 6th. Retro drops 3 places now in 7th. Mango Mafia down 1 in 8th place. KF Light in 9th. And Wagon Station stays at a solid 10th place.
Nice. And I think it's worth pointing out, like, look at the placements of these top 3 teams. Bandit Beaters, Soaring Tigers, and 2div. Like, these teams, they are mopping up these final games. Bandit Beaters with a first, a third, and a first. Soaring Tigers with a third, a second, and a first. 2div with a second, a third, and a third. These teams are just getting into these end games, and they're doing it consistently. Really impressive job by them. Looking at the Game 5 summary, Soaring Tigers with 9 kills, Ducking Illusion with 10 kills, 2div with 7 kills. So these 3 top teams just getting all of those kills. PYC getting a really respectable 6 as we saw them kill Rutro really early. And then they were able to outlast, I believe it was, I'm trying to remember. It might have been 8th Gate up there. 8th Gate with a really nice 7th place with 5 kills. EST Mango Mafia with 4 kills in 8th. Cleveland Forge in 9th with 0. And Be Happy in 10th with 3rd. So really, really good, impressive plays. I think these top teams are just playing so consistently. It's not giving a lot of space to the teams below them to move up. As we see, Bandit Beaters, Soaring Tigers, and 2div really have a nice cushion between 3rd and 4th. 8th Gate has played phenomenal tonight with 20 kills, but 8th Gate cannot, they're still, what is that, 13 points behind 2div. So these top teams are just playing so consistently with their placement, not giving a lot of breathing room to the teams that are trying to break into that top 3. We do see the Watson is banned again as Oversight is now back up. That means that Caustic is unbanned for the final game. I imagine we're going to see a lot of Caustics. Caustic is phenomenal on World's Edge. And I think we're going to see another full controller banned Div 4. Really fucking crazy.
To think how last game would have been so different had Caustic been unbanned.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal point. Yeah, if Overstat wasn't broken, we probably would have seen the Caustic come back in, and that would have changed a lot of things up. Instead, we see Watson getting banned back-to-back. It's not something you typically see. We do see Game 6. This is our last game getting kicked off here. Looking at the comps, Caustic is back in, and I will be shocked to see teams that are not running Caustic. We do see KF Light without the Caustic. We see Therapists without the Caustic. That's kind of surprising. We see T-Gun continuing with the Pathfinder and the Conduit, no Caustic. We see Legally Advised continuing with their Lifeline and no Caustic. Ducking Illusion, no Caustic. That's really surprising. Quite a few teams not running the Caustic. Out of all those, I'm really surprised not to see Therapists with Caustic. I think World's Edge, I think Caustic's just too strong not to run. And I think that's going to really bite some of these teams in the ass as they play out their final game. All right, so we see Zone 1 here. Let me see if I can get Zone 2. We see Zone 2 is going to be, this is going to be a Siphon Zone. This is going to be Siphon Village Zone. Zone 2. So there is no team playing Lava Siphon. I should have mentioned, Paradox did draft Lava Siphon, and Paradox got banned. And as I say this, by the way, Hax gets picked. Hax looting No Name, and he gets caught out by Wingman. Wingmen are tired of his shit, and they're looking. They are looking to punish Hax's aggression in No Name. It looks like they duo landed on Hax. They're trying to get the kill on Hax. He's underneath. And it looks like he will get killed by That's Fair. They kill off Hax. And now let's see if Wingman gets aggressive onto Soaring Tigers. Soaring Tigers having a great game last game. Let's see if they're now immediately down to duo. And this was something I kind of expected to see last game, but it looks like Wingmen are busting it out game 6. Wingmen are a very aggressive team. They will not take your shit early game. They are not scared to take a fight, and they're pushing Soaring Tigers deep. They're looking for Soaring Tigers deep into Overlook, but Soaring Tigers trying to avoid them. Hax gets revived, but I think it's just going to be... Whoa, wait, Nemoto gets a kill onto That's Fair. The Cryptos fighting it out. Nemoto killing off That's Fair, and now suddenly Soaring Tigers in a 3v2. Now a 2v2 as Hax gets knocked again. Nemoto getting his kill. We are in a 2v2 here in Overlook. As Winter Deadeye goes down, it's down to Nemoto in a 1v2 here. The Conduit ult comes out. Conduit absolutely brutal in an early game fight here. Nemoto's stuck in the Conduit ult, not looking good. Huge spray on the Lama Train. It's a 1v1. Not even cracked. Nemoto popping the cell against the Conduit here. In the knockdowns, the Conduit pushes, but Nemoto's in the Conduit ult. And Nemoto goes down. Soaring Tigers eliminated.
Beautiful ult. Oh my goodness.
What a fucking play from Wingmen as they win the fight there. Really roller coaster back and forth there. They're going to get That's Fair back in. And you got to feel good for Wingmen. They got bullied a little bit in their early games against Soaring Tigers. They also had a rough early game against the Cult, if I recall, on Storm Point.
That kind of ruined Soaring Tigers' stride because they were tied for second.
You're totally correct. We also see Cleveland Forge making their way up. They see the res, and this is something that Wingmen are not going to be ready for. So Cleveland Forge getting aggressive. They see the res. They're going to immediately try to take advantage of this. They're looking for their kills. Off screen, we see Ali gets the kill onto Average Dre. Ali, of course, landing in Monument with Oppenheimer. Ducky does go down to Righty. Cleveland Forge trying to get these cleans up. These finishes. Wingman is able to reset. Big grenades coming in, and Wingman gets eliminated by Cleveland Forge. Huge grenades by Cleveland Forge. They get eliminated. We see KF Light looking to get in on the action, but it's going to be a full 3v3 here. Let's see what Ollie's doing. Ollie is fighting here. Big fights coming out. Wagon Station stuck in this building. They're fighting with Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer down to a duo.
There's that caustic gas.
There's that caustic gas. PYC also down to a duo. This is a really bloody early game. PYC down to a solo. Caboose gets stuck with a grenade in their hand and loses the fight there as Juicebox Slays takes out all of PYC. Juicebox Slays with a nice 3K there. Great start here from Wagon Station, and it looks like Oppenheimer is also going to stabilize here as a 3v3. Unfortunately, PYC gets caught out and killed, and they're already out. We also see 2Div. I believe 2Div is in the second place or third place, and they've already moved their way in with this zone knowledge. We see Rutro in a great spot here in Siphon Village, setting up. They had a great spot last game, but they got caught out early and killed. 8th Gate taking Siphon East, I believe that is. Siphon North. I don't know what that's called. Siphon East or Siphon North. And they're looking at Rutro. So a lot of teams already getting set up here. We see EST, Mango Mafia. We also see T-Gun fighting with Ducking Illusion in this other Siphon building here. It looks like T-Gun's on their back foot, unfortunately. Ducking Illusion, a full 3, looking to hunt down the remainder of T-Gun as T-Gun does get eliminated. An EMP does come out, and that's going to be Bandit Beaters, rather. Bandit Beaters coming in for the third party, but little do they know that they're going into a 3v3 here. Big shots as they take down King Beast. Ducking Illusion definitely on their back foot. I believe it's a 3v1 with Bandit Beaters against Ducking Illusion, as it looks like Diamond trying to get out on the altar, getting hunted down here by Bandit Beaters. I believe Bandit Beaters will find him, and they do. Ducking Illusion eliminated in 15th. Off screen, we do see Overrated Max killing off. This is Therapist getting the knock onto Legally Advised. They are in a 3v2. These teams have been butting heads all of World's Edge. Therapist trying to find some sort of dignity in their last game. Meanwhile, Legally Advised is able to reset, and now it's a full 3v3. I'm not sure if Therapists want to take this now. Both these teams have been beefing all game on World's Edge. Therapist with the Alter Crypto Bang. And as we've talked about, Legally Advised with the uncharacteristic Lifeline. I'm just coughing out a lung over here. Sorry.
It's all right. I love to see the Lifeline plays, though. I feel like they're using it really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see a Lifeline. I love seeing untraditional comps.
So I just noticed Colt has Bloodhound.
Oh, well, speaking of under the great call out. What the fuck? Anna, how do you like Bloodhound after the rework?
I do think Bloodhound's really, really good now. But I think a lot of people don't notice it yet.
All right, so maybe a sleeper pick. We'll see if the cult can take advantage of the Bloodhound as they start to run into Therapists here. And Legally Advised are still working here on the pinch. So Therapist still in a really uncomfortable position. Meanwhile, looking at Zone, we still have Wagon Station. We've got 2div. A lot of these teams have great spots. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer getting their spot in Zone as usual. They've got a great position. I'm going to have to cough here for a bit.
Cleveland has the next zone. It looks like most of these teams on the bottom half of the map are already in it.
All right. And as you mentioned, we do see the next zone coming out here from Cleveland Forge. Cleveland Forge has this next zone, and this zone looking very predictable as it's going to pull into Siphon Village. Meanwhile, on the north side, it looks like Cult is going to be held out pretty hard here. It looks like they tried to evac and got shot out by Patch and KF Light. KF Light looking to hold their edge here as they are just holding all the teams. This is going to be a really tough push by the Colts into KF Light. Let's see if this Bloodhound works out for them. Meanwhile, Legally Advised in total shambles as Cubano gets knocked. Big Nate is still alive. Sen is by himself. They are getting held out by 2div. Looks like 2div getting aggressive onto Legally Advised. Sen trying to find a place to play and does rotate around them. But we see Therapist having the last laugh as they are hunting down the remnants of Legally Advised here.
Oh, that was dirty.
Meanwhile, in Zone, we see quite a few knocks, and it looks like 8th Gate takes out Be Happy. And they are getting thirded, and that... Ooh! As Crunch Ken gets knocked, 8th Gate trying to stabilize here as Blue Panda from Cleveland Forge is trying to find some space inside of this building. Meanwhile, on the north side, Indigo down to a solo in the Bloodhound ult. I don't know what happened to the rest of his team, but Indigo is down to like 20 HP in a dream. As it looks like KF Light cleaned them up on the edge, and now they're electing to move in. They're going to have to go through 2 Div and Wagon Station. Wagon Station not even looking at KF Light sliding down the hill. Wagon Station getting inted here. Meanwhile, we see Rutro also fighting for their lives. Rutro in a 1v1. It looks like Hova on 10 HP. He clutches it against EST Mango, and that Hova able to redeem himself as Rutro clings to their god spot. A little bit of a departure from last game. Meanwhile, Wagon Station getting displaced. Juicebox Slays on 10 HP, trying to get out on the Wraith. It looks like KF Light was able to mop them up, but oh my god, and Juicebox Slays dies his own. What the fuck? Absolutely tragic. KF Light down to a duo here as they are fighting what I believe is 2 Div. Delta, the lone survivor, trying to get out, play bridge. And this is actually Giggle Gang. I'm sorry, Giggle Gang, 3 strong. I want to point out, I don't know if you see this, Anna, but Indigo somehow survives the rotate in, still on 0 health, definitely down bad on meds, and trying to make a name for Bloodhound, trying to make Bloodhound popular again. Therapists have a nice little spot. They are alone on this side of the edge, so they might have a good spot for endgame. As we see, it's 9 squads with 25. Bandit Beaters in a great spot. They've continued to just play really consistent all night. It looks like Rutro's back up to a full 3 after Hova clutches up on the Caustic. Meanwhile, we see Giggle Gang moving up to take space on the bridge. They're getting shots. I believe they're shooting at Oppenheimer there. No, they are not. They're shooting at 2Div, who gets knocked. 2Div gets knocked, and they're now down to a duo trying to play the height of Crane. They have the crypto, so they will be able to reset this. Indigo just chilling on 10 HP. Lots of these teams are going to be able to live here. I think the team that's really on the outside looking in is Cleveland Forge. They have not been able to do much with their zone information. Zones at closing, they're going to go for the Valk ult here. I love this. They should be able to find something. I would love to see them to go Crane and kill the duo, but they elect to go height, a much more conservative play that should be totally safe for them. They have the Newcastle. They'll be able to survive here, and that'll work out great for them. Indigo does make his way in, and he is ratting his way to the top 10.
Oh no, they found him.
Uh-oh. They're hunting. The hunter becomes the prey. Indigo with 2 cells, no life, no health, and on a Bloodhound character. Meanwhile, we see Rutro getting really aggressive here. They're swinging. Stinkerson goes down. They do get blue. Huge drop by Human, but Rutro goes down. They get shot in the back by Oppenheimer, and they go down in 8th, as Giggle Gang stays alive on the bridge. Again, as we mentioned, you know, pushing into these caustics is so difficult. We watched Human drop down into the bridge there, and there's just caustic traps everywhere. You know, there's nothing for him to do. Meanwhile, Gav gets kidnapped out and gets back in. So Giggle Gang playing from the bridge. we see Therapist maybe finally gonna have their time in the what's the saying? Is it time in the sun?
The spotlight, maybe?
Is it time in the spot? Whatever. Therapist
It might be
finally
time.
gonna have a good game here. As I caster curse them, over it Max goes down. Summer Lane getting rolled, and Ernst, I just obliterated them with a caster curse. They get destroyed by bandit beaters.
I feel like they get so close every time.
Every time.
So far.
Meanwhile, bandit beaters are not satiated with their kill as OK Grim out here kidnapping.
They learned from their last game what to do with this altar.
Yeah, they're having their revenge. Giggle Gang looking a little bit awkward here in the RV as they're getting aggressed on. They are on 1 HP and they are getting aggressed on. I believe this is Cleveland Forge on the outside. The Fuse ult comes in, the Caustic ult comes in, and man, this RV looks inhospitable. Giggle Gang getting mopped up by Cleveland Forge on this edge. We are down to 5 squads of 15, all full squads. Cleveland Forge trying to find a safe space to play. Unfortunately, it's their Newcastle who's knocked. And I think they will get to reset him. They are resetting the Newcastle. All right. So, Anna, as we approach this end game with 5 squads up, which team are you taking to win this game?
I think it's got to be the bandit beaters.
Yeah, you stick the first place team. They've got all the momentum. I like this call from you a lot. I think they're not in the best spot, but they do have the momentum and they're playing really well tonight. I'm actually going to pick Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer's got the most space. They're putting a lot of pressure here on Cleveland Forge. Cleveland Forge down to a solo of their Caustic. And I think Oppenheimer is just forcing them into a really tough spot to play. Meanwhile, as you mentioned it, Bandit Beaters getting aggressive, going up and annihilating 8th Gate. I missed that. But Bandit Beaters does clear their side, and now they're in a phenomenal spot, as you mentioned. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer and 2Div having to fight here. Oppenheimer getting... Oh, no, it's actually OK Grim with the Kraber getting a kill onto 2Div. Oppenheimer trying to take advantage of 2Div's predicament. 2Div able to put it into 2v2, but the Caustic coming in huge here as Oppenheimer stands tall. Meanwhile, Bandit Beaters moving up, and I think Anna's prediction is going to look really good here. The #1 team taking all the space in the world. They're looking real healthy here.
Well, one of them goes down, though.
One of them does go down, but they clean up Oppenheimer, and now they're in the final squads here. I'm on here with MVP, OK Grim, with the Kraber, and he just fucks the shit out of 2Div here on the Kraber shot. It's a 2v2. Free BK goes down. It's now a 2v1, and I think you called it. The final person on 2Div here getting sent as OK Grim goes for the no-scope, misses, but the melee comes out, and as the melee comes out, and you totally called it, Anna, Bandit Beaters are your champions. Absolute dominant night from them.
Crazy what they can do with 3 people.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. OK Grim was the MVP of last week, and he in Emergent chat, he asked, why was he the MVP? And I think we're seeing why he was the MVP.
Oh, yeah.
This team is absolutely nasty when they've got a full squad. They take the win in Game 6. They also take the win on the total night. Anna, you want to walk us through the overall scores from 1 to 20 for the night?
All right, so
once it loads.
yeah. Once it loads.
God, what a Kraber shot. Great call. I really thought Oppenheimer was going to have it there. But Bandit Beaters, man, you called it. They had the momentum, and they've just been playing out of their fucking minds all night. Take the win.
Yeah, it goes to show that sometimes placement on the map, it's really important, but Bandit Beaters kind of just ran through every team they walked into.
Yep. And
They
honestly,
took whatever spot they wanted.
Honestly, if they didn't get altered up on in Game 5, they probably win Game 5 too. Like, they were in such a good spot. And you predicted that as well. We're seeing Overstat just bug out. Maybe go through the the match summary in game then. Oh my
So
god.
Bandit Beaters takes the win, but they've got a whopping 15 kills, so that's putting them way above everyone else. Two devs second place with 4 kills. They were tied for second last game overall, so that'll probably keep them there. Oppenheimer in third place with 3 kills. Cleveland Forge fourth place, 6 kills. Eighth Gate fifth place with 4 kills. They had a really good session today too. I feel like
Yep.
Giggle Gang sixth place, third place seventh place, eighth place Rut, ninth place the Cold, and 10th place again KF Light. I feel like they kind of stay at that middle ground.
Yeah. Yeah, some monster games in game 6. Really exciting game 6, I thought. I think Wingman, I'm happy for them. They got 19th. Or I'm sorry, I think they got 18th, but they had their revenge on Soaring Tigers and were able to get 4 kills before they went out. Let's see if Overstat will comply with us. Is it? Oh, it got erased.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get the link here. They already archived it just to get the overall standings.
I do think from how it went last game, it's probably first place Bandit Beater, second place 2 Dev. The Soaring Tigers went out 20th. So
Yeah, they did.
That's going to push them down a bunch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Soaring Tigers did have a 13-point lead over, I believe, I forget who was in fourth, but they did have a 13-point lead over the fourth place squad. So they might be safe even with the 20th finish, but we will have to see. Overstat is just shitting the bed.
It's having a bad time tonight. I do want to comment. So while the controller legends were all out again today, just as last week, I feel like this week was way more aggressive than last week. I think everyone was sort of kind of figuring out what league was going to be like, and now on week 2, and with that bye week in between, and maybe even because of the new split, the new season, and the changes, I'm noticing a lot more pushing.
Yeah.
In this week.
I completely agree. I think that's a really good I think that's a really good observation, and I'm getting comms from Discord that it's dead. That the Oversat link is dead. I asked for the link and they said it's dead. That's sick.
It's
I totally agree with that. I think that that's a great analysis and a great observation, Anna. Lots more aggression despite the controller emphasis within Div 4. Really cool to see Div 4 continue their controller picks despite, we saw a balance patch come out and they still stuck with wait, I might have got I got the game. I got one link working. Okay,
yeah,
I'm showing through game 5 what it was looking like. So
yeah.
do you have that?
No, yeah, just up to game 5.
Yeah, so it looks like 8th Gate was the team in 4th. I don't think they did enough to catch 2 Div, or Soaring Tigers rather. I think Soaring Tigers probably secured 3rd place, and we saw that 2 Div had a good game. They get 2nd place. Bandit Beaters obviously with a really great night getting 1st place. So we can kind of make those inferences. I'm not sure how much more it got mixed up. I think Rutro probably stays around 7th. They had a pretty decent night. I think they went out around 8th and they had a couple kills. So Rutro probably stays around 7th or 6th. Do you remember how Cleveland Forge had a pretty good game as well.
They were a decent game.
Yeah, they were the team that died on the edge in that end game. They made it to top 5. So they're going to secure their position. I think I would. So Ducking Illusion, where did Ducking Illusion die? Do you remember?
They are 16th place, 3 kills.
Okay, so Ducking Illusion probably get passed by Cleveland Forge. I would say easily get passed by Cleveland Forge. And then the question is and then do we have 8th Gate? Okay, 8th Gate.
5th place, 4 kills.
Okay, 8th Gate, I think 8th Gate probably keeps their spot. So looking at this, I'm guessing that 8th Gate stays 4th Ducking Illusion gets knocked down to 5th, and Cleveland Forge bump up to 5th. I think Rutrow might even pass Cleveland Forge as well. Or I'm sorry, might even pass Ducking Illusion. We'll have to see. Let's see if we can get a link here before we end the stream. Overall, I totally agree with your observations, Anna. I think there's a really a lot more explosive week 2, despite the controller emphasis. We saw a lot of aggression in early games. Teams like Wingmen, teams like at KF Light, teams like Mango Mafia, Legally Advised always was looking for teams on the edge. I think Legally Advised playing kind of a really off meta comp and a really off meta strategy as they're kind of trying to clean up the edge there. So we'll have to see how that works out for them. Our lobby is closing. I want to say Legally Advised, I believe they got 9th or 10th last week.
I have a screenshot of it too if you need it. The match summary.
Oh, very nice. Legally Advised got 10th or 9th last week, so they're pretty much in the same position this week as they end around 11th, somewhere around 11th. We'll see where they end up landing. Wagon Station having a much better week this week, right? This team, I believe they were in 19th last week, so for them to move up to 10th, you can see that they're acclimating. They had really, really good placement in 6.2 through 5 games. Definitely acclimating to this division and starting to figure out their spot. I think we're still seeing teams like Teen Gun, the Cult, and PYC find their pacing. And for me, I think the biggest surprise is definitely Therapist. They came in through 5 games. We don't have all 6 games yet. And I think Overstat is just dead. Therapist was an 18th going into game 6. So big surprise coming off a really dominant game 1 or week 1. Any other things you're seeing here?
No, I think you covered most of it.
Yeah, and I don't think we're gonna get Overstat, so we may have to call. Oh wait, Overstat just came up. Okay, so we have Overstat. I'm gonna pull it up through game 6. Overstat is now back up. Excellent. So I'm gonna go through the scores here. Bandit Beaters with a absolutely dominant week 2, coming in with 19 points in first place. 2Div takes second place with 67. Soaring Tigers takes third with 55. Cleveland Forge in fourth with 49. And they barely inch out. And this is crazy. Cleveland Forge barely inches out 8th Gate as 8th Gate ties them with 49. They both had a first place, but Cleveland Forge's best game was slightly better than 8th Gate. And so 8th Gate takes 5th. Ducking Illusion moves down to 6th, and they barely inch out Rutrow in 7th. KF Light with a really interesting night, in my opinion. They had some really big games and some really bad games. They get 8th. EST Mango Mafia gets 9th with 35. And Wagon Station, closes out the top 10 with 32. Oppenheimer gets bumped out, even though I thought they had a really consistent night, just not really able to hit most of those end games. They get 11th. Legally Advised right outside the bubble in 12th. Be Happy in 13th. PYC. T-Gun moving up to 15th. Nice to see the improvement from T-Gun. Wingman in 16th. The Cult in 17th. Giggling in 18th. And Therapist ends the night in 19th in last place. Wow. So really, really big surprises there for some of our teams. Going over the individual performances, player standings. We have OK Grim, the MVP from week 1. He has 16 kills. He's tied with Free BK from 2Div with 16 kills. Right behind them, You're For Real Diggin' with 15 kills on Bandit Beaters. You For Real Diggin' was missing last week and really missed, providing 15 kills on Crypto is kind of crazy. So great job from our top 3 there. In damage, let's see if Stinkerson held it out. He did not. You For Real Diggin' edges out Stinkerson with 8,700 damage. Stinkerson in second with 8,500 damage. But really, Bandit Beaters, look at these guys. They're 3 of the top 4 in damage, and Stinkerson, the total goat, obviously in second with damage. So some really incredible overall performances there. I'm glad we were able to get Overstat working there before calling it a night. Any other final thoughts, Anna, before we end the broadcast?
I'm excited to see what happens next week if it can keep this momentum. I'm a huge fan of Bandit Beaters after tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think you said that great. Bandit Beaters, it was so cool because, we were both, I mean, it was so fun to root for them as a duo last week, but seeing them as a trio and seeing the dominant performance come out from them is really, really sick. And I totally agree. I'm a total Bandit Beaters fan at this point. Again, shout out to Div 4 for the total controller bans this week. Again, quality score 7.75, pretty decent. So yeah, I think this has been a great week, and we will see you guys next week.
Yep.
I don't even know
For
how to end my
casting.
cast.
Have a good night. Thank you so much for casting with me again.